FM.
This is Ryan Wiggins. We are in the crunch time here for Christmas, getting everything bought, getting everything ready, making all of your plans. I got to do things like get an oil change this weekend because I haven't in too long, and we got to make a drive. So that kind of stuff is taking precedent, but I can tell you that that's for everybody. Nobody's thinking forward to January and February yet. So I'm telling you, if you can squeeze it in to make your appointment now with Dr. Ty Parker and Fountains Family Dentistry, they make it easy by having hours that are late some days, early some days, because they know everybody's schedule is different. But for me, getting me and my 3 kids in all at once, you got to do that ahead of time. So I'm encouraging you to right now make those appointments, get on that 6-month schedule, especially if you've gotten out of it for COVID, and go to my dentist, Dr. Ty Parker. He's a good friend of mine. He's in Fairview Heights, and his practice is called Fountains Family Dentistry. You can find him at fountainsfamilydentistry.com, right off of 64 in Fairview Heights, easy to get to from no matter where you are, fountainsfamilydentistry.com.
If your business has accounting problems, you probably have tax problems. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Running a small business is tough, and it's no surprise that companies that don't keep good books often run into tax issues. If you don't fix your accounting problems, you could be doomed to land in the same tax pitfalls every year. Call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I can help you get out of tax trouble and stay out. If your small business doesn't have a CPA or accountant, I can help you find one. And if you already have one, I work closely with them to resolve your tax problems quickly. Make no mistake, if the numbers don't add up, the IRS will catch it. Fix your accounting and tax problems before they snowball with help from the Lance Drury Law Firm. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-238-7360, or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Want to make this the most unforgettable Christmas? Diamonds Direct is here to help with our most dazzling selection ever and 4 years zero-interest financing. Diamonds Direct showcases are fully stocked with the classics, as well as the latest trendy fashion jewelry from world-class designers. You'll get the unbeatable value price Diamonds Direct is known for. Plus, spread your payments over 4 years, 48 whole months with zero interest. Get holiday store hours, directions, finance details, and see our online gift guide at diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit.
Worried about what you're breathing in? With each breath, allergens, germs, and viruses get trapped in your nose. Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage. Available at Navage.com.
The Odyssey app. The Odyssey app. Download it today and stream anytime from anywhere where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk. The place for ideas. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by the Loading Dock, with a unique and beautiful ice skating rink to enjoy this time of year. Go to GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
This is not about me holding me in contempt. It's not even about making the Capitol safer. We see that by some of the selective leaks that are going on right now. This is about Donald Trump and about actually going after him once again, continuing to go after Donald Trump. And when we look at the real results of this investigation, it is not really the foundation is not based on a legislative purpose.
So Mark Meadows is about to be held in contempt for not answering that subpoena, I guess, to testify in the January 6th insurrection investigation. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. Happy that you're with us. Happy Tuesday. How do you feel about this? I'd love to know. Comment on the live stream on the Annie Frey YouTube page, Annie Frey Show Facebook page, Twitch, Twitter, wherever. Are you paying any attention to the January 6th thing? Does it make you angry so you pay more attention to it because you're a glutton for punishment and you can't turn it off? Or are you like, yawn, moving on, I'm going to go do some Christmas shopping? I don't know what's supposed to come out of this January 6th thing. Brad, when you see stories about, developments, I'm like, oh, that thing's still going on. That's my take, and maybe I have a professional obligation to care more. I'm working really hard. Maybe I'm failing. I don't really care.
Honestly, that's kind of how I feel. It's like, oh, that's still a thing. I thought they would have given up on it by now, but it seems like there's an anticipation. People are sitting out there waiting for some bombshell, something to drop. And the reaction to those texts and tweets that came out shows me that they're like eager for this bombshell to drop. And then it's like, oh, see. And then I'm looking at this and I'm like, you know what? I remember sitting at my desk watching this unfold on the Annie Frey show.
Yeah.
Saying the same thing.
This did happen during our show.
Yeah.
And we just we did a lot of national coverage. We pulled a lot of national coverage in, but we were watching it like everybody else.
Yeah.
In real time.
It's like at some point, I was in agreement with all three of those hosts that said that Trump needs to say something. I thought he needed to say something, but that doesn't mean that he incited it or was promoting it or anything like that. It just means he responded poorly to it.
I agree with that. I remember thinking, okay, now's the time to come out and speak. And I remember willing and wishing for him to do that, which honestly, a lot of what has developed, and I guess, is it in the last 24 hours where we heard about the text messages that Mark Meadows received from Fox News hosts?
According to the records, multiple Fox News hosts knew the president needed to act immediately. They texted Mr. Meadows, and he has turned over those texts. Quote, Mark, the president needs to tell people in the Capitol to go home. This is hurting all of us. He is destroying his legacy, Laura Ingraham wrote. Please get him on TV. Destroying everything you have accomplished, Brian Kilmeade texted. Quote, can he make a statement? Ask people to leave the Capitol, Sean Hannity urged.
So I know that this is meant to... Everybody knows that all of this is meant to trash Donald Trump. That's the goal here. They want to take him down. I feel as though this is becoming more important now because President Biden is such a disaster. They need to keep the spotlight on Trump, and all Trump has to do is turn and pivot to a camera and wink and walk away, and they all lose their minds. It's like, it's got to be like drugs for Donald Trump. Just to send something out into the ethos and then have it just melt liberals everywhere. But this to me really actually makes me look at the Fox News hosts and go, I'm kind of glad they did that. Yeah. I'm glad to know that they were on that side. Thank you for sharing with everybody that when people listen to 97.1 and they're like, oh, you've got all these right hard-leaning Trumpers, blah, blah, blah. They all, you're insurrectionists. I've been called an insurrectionist. Shut up. Shut your mouth. I'm not an insurrectionist. I hate liberal policies. I think they're terrible for the country, and I don't want to raise myself in a progressive utopia, which really is just a socialistic disaster dumpster fire. I'm not an insurrectionist. I'm not a lot of other things that people would blanket call Republicans. And if it would have been known early on that these Fox News hosts had been saying, President Trump, you need to do something. You need to say something. You need to speak up. I'm not saying this as I'm not using this as a way to defend or to destroy Donald Trump. I just think that you would have seen some people look at Fox News and say, well, if you were a discerning, objective individual, you would be happy that they did so. And they also had spent their time on air condemning what took place on January 6th. They all did. Even Tucker Carlson never supported what took place on January 6th. I actually don't know an individual in my life, anywhere at all, who thinks that what took place at the Capitol building on January 6th, that was a good thing. I know no one. I do know a lot of people a lot of individuals who understand the protest that was taking place outside of the building and drawing a definitive dividing line between why people were upset and at the Capitol from those people who were enraged and in the Capitol. There is a difference there. Maybe that's splitting hairs to people on the left. That's fine. You have the right to have that opinion. I'm of the opinion that there is a difference in those two entities and what took place. People scaling the walls in the Capitol building, going in the Capitol building, breaking windows, and doing the things that they did was not A, right, or B, effective, which is where I have a lot of my questions, like, why were these people even doing this? What's the end game here? I think a lot of people have that same question on both sides of the aisle. What was the end game here? What were you actually trying to do? There are people who believe that they were actually trying to kill the vice president. That's what they actually believe. I don't believe that was the end goal, but I do believe that in a mob riot situation, things do get out of hand, which is why I think it was bad. Completely all around, storming the Capitol building, bad. And when you engage in activity and behavior like that, you've ruined your cause. I would assume, considering that at least in my lifetime, that was an unprecedented event, I would assume that the president's hesitation to come out and say something and ask people to stop, that in his mind, again, I'm giving you an explanation, not an excuse, so please don't take it outside of that context, even though I know some of you will. Thanks for still listening to the show. Glad you're here. I believe that the president thought that if he came out and spoke to those people, which eventually he did, and by the time he did, it was pretty much too late, that if he did that, then he would be, in his mind, claiming those people and claiming what happened. And if he's the general who gets to stand up and step up and tell these people to stop, if they listen to him, then they are his people. And I think he would have been exactly in the same position he's in right now. So he was in trouble either way he went.
Yeah, I think he'd be in. There's nothing he could have done on that day that would not have him in that position, right? I think the people.
I think that the way he delivered, I understand why the people were out there.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why he was speaking to the people. I personally listened to what he said in that speech, and it made me uncomfortable. I thought, I think President Trump, I think this is the end of your presidency for now. Maybe this is the end of your presidency for now. And I don't feel like you're going out with your head held high. I think it did feel to me like he was speaking out of anger and not anything else that was productive.
Yeah, I don't see anything that other than not speaking at all. I don't know that there was anything that he could do that would have changed that situation. And I don't know, honestly, I don't know that if he wouldn't have came out and spoke at that rally or whatever, if that would have changed the situation anyway. There might still have been those people that thought that they were going to do something, they were going to change this, they were going to right a wrong or whatever it is that they thought that they were doing by going into the Capitol. I still think that there's people out there that would have done it anyway.
At the point with which the riot had already occurred, he was too far downstream from being able to Pontius Pilate his way right out of that situation. He entered his presidency without that ability. Donald Trump was never given a fair shake. Donald Trump had to make every decision. He probably picked the pair of underwear that he put on in the morning thinking, how am I going to screw this one up for the liberal media? That's his mindset. I'm going to tell you this. They did that to him. He did not deserve the media coverage that he got. Listening to Joy Behar on The View say that if the media would focus on some of Joe Biden's accomplishments, that maybe he wouldn't have such low poll numbers. Maybe he should have some accomplishments. Maybe we could start there. Start accomplishing things. And then we will maybe be able to talk about those accomplishments. I don't know where this Mark Meadows things is going. I'm kind of curious as to how you all feel about it. And I'll be reading your comments here on the live stream. Are you glued to your TV and to your screens on every development that takes place here? I mean, personally, If this was going to be an effective, purposeful thing, because listen, I don't want a January 6th event to ever happen again in this country. I don't. If you disagree with that, I'm sorry, I got nothing for you. I don't ever want to be watching the Capitol building in our nation's capital be overtaken like that from anybody. I don't want to see that ever again. So I would like to know what we have to do to make sure that we have the security in place to make sure that that can never happen again. But in that same vein, I would like to know why Nancy Pelosi was briefed the day before January 6th and was asked for heightened security because she's in charge of the Capitol Police, and why she didn't approve it. I'd like to know that. And if we need some sort of commission in order to find that out, you could talk me into being okay with it. But as long as it's this politically partisan sham that's just out there because they need Donald Trump to be in the headlines, they need Donald Trump to be the boogeyman in the closet that is always waiting to come out and get you the second you take your eyes off of him. That's a big fat distraction, folks, and you know it and I know it. Whether Donald Trump has a shot at another term in 2024 largely rests on how bad the Democrats blow it, how much they turn this country into, like I said, their progressive dumpster fire of equity for all, which means success for none, government controlled and mandated provision. If they are successful in that, the more successful they are, the more they will worry about Donald Trump. And they're worried now, and they're not even a year in. That says to me it's not going well, that the left sees what's taking place, and they're really surprised that all of you subjects aren't just so grateful for all of the things that they're doing for you in your place. They're kind of shocked that the Americans out there are like, we'd rather just take care of ourselves. Thank you. Goodbye. Like, that's really the American motto. It should be on a flag somewhere, right under "Don't Tread on Me." That's kind of what it says anyway.
Got to be on a flag in Latin or something.
Don't tread on me. And then in subtitles, leave me the French fry alone. That's kind of what the American motto is. Will we talk about the January 6th commission? Only if I have to. There's some professional obligation there, but I see these stories and I'm like, I roll, moving on. Let's go play Animal Crossing on Switch. You ever play Animal Crossing?
I have not.
Can I stream that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Lord.
That equipment that I hooked you up with?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I wonder if I still know how to work that. That's why we have Twitch, guys. I expect over the Christmas break to be delving a little bit more into Twitch. We will see. If you haven't subscribed to us on Twitch, or if you don't know what Twitch is, don't even worry about it. If you do know what Twitch is, come find us. I'm going to experiment on some stuff there, probably over the Christmas break. All right, let's take a quick break. New guest on the show when we come back, candidate for the United States House in the 5th District of Tennessee. Do you know Robbie Starbuck? He's a director and a producer, and Robbie Starbuck is on with us in about 5 minutes. So please don't go anywhere. Please come say hi on the live stream. Use that hashtag STLAF. Say hello where you're listening from, and we'll give some shout outs in the 2 o'clock hour. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show. Threatening, throttling, or outright censorship. Not here. This is the place for ideas. 97.1 FM Talk. Right here, right now.
Want to do something fun while helping a local charity? Well, here's your chance with Friesen for Funds. On Saturday, January 8th, join friends and fellow community members for a jump in the pond at Glazebrook Park in Godfrey, Illinois. We'll be out there from 10 a.m. to noon. You can visit coldengodfrey.com to register. For $25, you'll receive a cool t-shirt and an entry to the charity of your choice. Mayor McCormick will draw one lucky winner at the end of the event. The more people who register for a charity, the more likely it is to win. So if you're a charity, school, or sports organization, make sure to tell as many people as you can to get registered. Don't worry, you don't have to jump in. You can join us for donuts from Mr. Donut Coffee, Shiver's Frozen Custard Coffee Cart, and hot cocoa from the Salvation Army. Again, it's January 8th at Glazebrook Park in Godfrey, Illinois from 10 a.m. to noon. Register today on Facebook at Friesen for Funds with a $sign or visit coldingodfrey.com.
Is your portfolio positioned for the biggest risks facing investors today? Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. We have experienced tremendous economic changes in the last year. Today, historically low interest rates and spiking inflation present new risks and opportunities for investors. If you haven't made changes to your investments in the last year, it's time for a portfolio review. With 100 years of combined experience, our team can help you prepare for the risks relevant to today's investors. Contact the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel to request a free portfolio review at clearpathinvesting.com or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
The rock holiday tradition returns. Trans-Siberian Orchestra live in concert. 2 shows, December 30th, 3 and 8 p.m. Enterprise Center. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Millions of fans have witnessed this one-of-a-kind audio-visual concert. Trans-Siberian Orchestra's Christmas Eve and Other Stories, live at Enterprise Center, December 30th. A holiday experience for the entire family.
If you filed a tax extension in April, don't wait until it's too late to handle your tax issues. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm. Every year, thousands of Missourians file extensions when their taxes are due in April. But what people don't know is the extension only moves your deadline to file your return, not to pay your taxes. So if you didn't pay anything back in April, you could now owe taxes plus interest plus penalties. You think you've bought yourself time, but really you've just added to the total bill. If this sounds like you, call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I am a local tax attorney with an A+ BBB rating, and I will meet with you right away to help handle your tax problems quickly. The deadline to file your return after an extension has already passed, so call the Lance Drury Law Firm now before it's too late. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-238-7360, or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman with ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN Group.com, 314-946-9999. We also are real estate agents, and a lot of times when people call, they want options, retail or wholesale directly to me. Well, we are listing property as real estate agents. So if you want to sell your house and you're not sure which route you want to go, we can provide you an option when you're selling. Clayman Group is where you can go. 314-946-9999. Call today so we can talk about options.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
We're not going to have that until the establishment realizes that they need to get to work. And if they're not willing to do it, they need to step aside, because there is a wave of lions who are ready to come in and do what is necessary to fix the problem. They spend untold millions at think tanks. And then what do we get for it? White papers, no action. We need action. We need action-oriented people to take control and to actually strategize to stop this plan from Soros and his other billionaire friends to take over our country and become the law, which means we have no law anymore.
So that's Robbie Starbuck speaking there as a candidate for the United States House in Tennessee's 5th District. And he has been speaking out a lot about the Soros-funded, we know, Circuit Attorney Kim Gardner, right here in St. Louis. The constant drumbeat as we see it across the country of criminals committing crime. It seems to me like there's a big investment in creating criminals out of law-abiding citizens. But then when we actually catch people who are committing crime, that's in fact what a criminal is, we just let them go. And there's a consistency. There's a pattern. that exists across the entire country on how crime is being committed and permitted by the elected officials in these areas. St. Louis, right here, we know about that, and it's funded by the same person. Why would somebody fund this? I don't know. But we need people who are running in office who are going to change the way we look at this, who are going to get us back to a sense of normalcy. And in Tennessee, that's Robbie Starbuck. And he's with us right now. He's a director and producer running for the 5th District in Tennessee. Robbie, pleasure to have you on the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for the time today.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be on. You're an incredible person on Twitter, so I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. I A, don't sleep, and B, I'm real sarcastic and snarky. It's like the perfect combination. So, Robbie, let me ask you, what you a director and a producer turned congressional candidate. How does that shift happen in your life?
It's honestly kind of a natural one for me. The politics of our country and freedom is always what came first. So, my job as a director, I think it does give me a lot of advantages going into politics, because my job as a director was essentially to be a professional babysitter that got people with gigantic egos to get their job done,
well said.
Which is going to help a lot in D.C. That's essentially what you have to do, is corral a bunch of babies and make them get the job done for the people. So I think that, on the flip side of that, the other thing is selling an offensive message. We need to go on offense in this country right now. If we don't go on offense now, our party will die. And so it's essential to me. I look at the totality of what we're looking at over the next 50 years, and I say, do I want my kids to end up in a country like Cuba, which my family had to flee and lost everything from? Or do I want them to grow up in a country that's full of opportunity where you can do anything? And it's a very simple, answer for me. So that's what led me to run for office. And the transition is like giving nothing up. I mean, this country has given me everything. My children would not be alive without it. So the prospect of burning down my career in Hollywood, directing Oscar-winning actors and actresses, was like the easiest thing in the world in comparison to what this country's given me.
We're speaking with Robbie Starbuck, director and producer, candidate for the United States House in Tennessee. One of the reasons why I'm so drawn to you and to what you're doing, you're in Tennessee. I live in Illinois, but I work here in St. Louis across the river. We have quite the dichotomy in the bi-state region between Illinois and Missouri. And I question, the future of the Republican Party. You're a child of the 80s, and you are young and you're fresh and you have fire about you. I think that maybe some of the boomers, the people who are actually, honestly, serving mostly in Washington, D.C. right now, some of the older people are looking at the future of the Republican Party, looking at the future of the Democrat Party. There is quite a stark choice there. When you're comparing the squad, who we have one, Cori Bush, here in St. Louis, along with AOC and the rest of them, to what is the future of the Republican Party, that might be you, Robbie.
Yeah, I think we can draw a clear dichotomy right now between candidates like myself and what the left is pushing. In fact, AOC has a Cori Bush type person, Odessa Kelly, that she's running against me in my race. And they've fundraised a ton of money for her. They might be socialists, but let me tell you, those people, they do know how to fundraise.
Funny how that works.
That's the thing that I know. It's interesting, isn't it? But we've got to be really prepared for this future and be ready to go on offense, because we're facing that prospect. I mean, the voters in my district are going to have a choice between somebody whose family survived communism and socialism, in myself, or someone who believes America should be a socialist country. And I'm not just using that word to use it. They actually are socialists. So, I think that draws as clear of a picture as you could possibly hope for. And I do think that's the one thing that we do have going for us, is that if we're talking about selling a message, we've never had a clear picture to paint for people of what the other side is. In the past, I'd say in those 80s, 90s, you would see Republican candidates talk about socialism from the left, but the left's response was, we're not socialists. We don't believe any of this. No way. Now it's, yeah, we are socialists. America needs socialism. America needs these defund the police policies, these, soft on crime DAs, and they're actually standing behind this stuff now. So if we fail to message at this point, it's our fault. If we lose this country, it's our fault. We already lost our institutions on every side. We lost academia, we lost the media, we lost entertainment, we lost everything, that culturally matters. And that's a problem. We've got to fight for those things and win them back.
Yeah.
But that's sort of the difference.
Go ahead.
That's sort of the difference, is that are we going to fight and try to win back things, or are we going to keep playing defense and give more things up to the left? And that's the real difference between myself and the establishment that we see too much of in DC, is that, they're prepared to continue ceding ground. They just basically want to tread water, make sure they win their seats, they get their nice fat retirement, they keep doing their backroom deals. They're not interested in the survival of this country for our children and our grandchildren. That's why I'm doing this. It would be much easier for me not to run. And to be honest, if I was saying, people, look for one thing in your candidates in this next round in 2022, look for people who don't need the job, people who are not going to do it to enrich themselves. We need people who are doing this because they're ideological warriors and they want to fight for our actual values.
Yeah, it's refreshing to hear you say that. And I think that it's also important to, when we get to look at what does the Democratic Party offer? What is the far left progressive portion of the Democratic Party offer? Because it sure looks to me like they're the ones that are driving the Democrat car right now. I ask this of a lot of politicians who are on my show, the RNC when they come on my show, but what does the Republican Party stand for? We can talk about all the bad stuff that's coming out of the left and, the inflation that we feel when we go to the store, or the supply chain issues that we've encountered with bare shelves, the going, something as simple as going to try to grab some food from somewhere, and the short staffing issues are just ridiculous. We see what Democrats in control have produced so far, and they've not even gotten a whole year under their belt so far. What's the counter offer for people to say, you know what, I haven't really thought about being Republican, but I hate what's going on right now? What do these guys have to offer?
Well, I guess you've got to sort of reframe the question, even, because if you talk about what are we offering right now, not enough. If we talk about what should the future of the Republican Party offer and what is sort of the America First movement in candidates like myself offer, it's a very different prospect. I mean, I would say for us, the people like me who are aligned, I would say liberty is at the very top of our list. We have retreated on the individual liberties that everybody is supposed to have in this country so far that the country is really unrecognizable from what our Constitution intended. And so that would be priority number one across the board. I mean, you look at the people being fired from their jobs, these nurses and doctors, and I mean, it goes down the board, all of these jobs. It's not the country that I know and love at all. I can't even call it a free country anymore, because it's really not. On the flip side of that, we need to believe in some things that too many times both parties have gone away from, like free speech. People say nasty things about me sometimes, and you know what? That's okay. They're allowed to in America. And I don't think that we should be criminalizing speech anymore. I think we've got to go back to a place where we really are fighting for people to be free. And that goes to the business end of things too, to a certain capacity. But when you're in government, there is a line where you have to decide what matters more, individual liberty or the rights of Walmart, and for me, the individual liberty of their workers is paramount over Walmart's ability to make a rule and say, no, you have to get this vaccine to work here. I don't think those two things make sense. You've got to stand for individual liberty and say, no, this worker has a right not to get a medical treatment they don't want in order to have employment. So there are lines that we've got to sort of bridge where we decide, who we are. And for me, it drives us towards a more populist party where we're really concerned with kitchen table issues that deliver better lives for families. I would say we need to get as far away from the corporate raider sort of mentality people like Mitt Romney had, where it was all about pleasing the corporate elite and making sure they could get everything they wanted. And we need to get away from that. I mean, the truth is all these companies have moved so far left, they're unrecognizable. And for us to fight for those companies is just the weirdest strategy I could possibly conceive of, because you're talking about fighting for people who essentially are saying, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. And you say, okay, how can I make your life better? That's just bizarre to me. How about we go fight for the people who are begging for us to help them? And so that means, making sure that we engage on all these issues that are facing people every day, from inflation to, I was just talking about one before we got on the phone, these student loans. The government never should have been in the business of student loans. We have got to entirely wipe out that entire program. We should not be producing student loans. The outcomes were always guaranteed that we were going to end up with a system where people got worthless degrees in gender studies and owed six figures to the government. And then we're in a perpetual loop of having to pay, basically interest over interest for decades. It's not something that actually makes any sense. And in a competent world, you would have go into a bank and you'd say, "Hi, banker, I want to get a gender studies degree. It's going to cost $300,000." And the banker would say, "No, you're out of your mind. You are a little bit crazy." And that would be that, but instead we have a federal government that says, stamp off. Yep, great. Go get your gender studies degree. And then you can go work at Starbucks. It's nonsensical. So we need to get out of the business of nonsensical things. Look at the Department of Education. We need to actually abolish the Department of Education federally. We not just talk about it, but actually do stuff. Part of the reason we see the House flip back and forth between the parties is because nobody actually does anything.
Right.
In this next majority, and I believe we will have a majority, if we don't pass a record number of bills to actually do things, then we are a failure by definition. We need to do the people's work and get this done. Now, if Biden signs or vetoes those bills, is a whole other deal, but that's going to produce the outcome of the 2024 election.
Right.
If you look at issues like, let's say, CRT, if you ban CRT and you say, for CRT to happen, you cannot take government dollars. That means that Lockheed Martin, Amazon, all these places that take government funds, they can no longer teach or train with CRT. Public schools and private schools, same thing, wouldn't be able to. You send that to Biden's desk and he says no, he's going to have to answer for why, because the Democrats claim that CRT is not a real thing. So if it's not real, he should have no problem signing it. And if it is real, he needs to stand by why he's not signing it. All those things are going to help whoever runs in 2024, whether it's President Trump or somebody else. It's going to help that candidate be able to draw a very clear, line between who they are and who we are.
Robbie, real quick before we let you go, obviously you're running there in Tennessee. A quick Wikipedia search here shows that a Democrat has held that seat since 2003. So this would be a pretty significant flip for the Republicans, and this is probably the year to make it happen. What do you suggest to people listening here? I mean, we've got a Cori Bush to try to defend against. That's a pretty tall order here in the city of St. Louis. But what do average Americans who have had enough with the way this is going right now need to do to help candidates that are like you here in our area get the word out, get the support out, and make 2022 a year to remember?
Absolutely. So in my seat, a lot of people started calling it the majority maker, because if we win my seat, we win the majority by a decent margin. And it's actually being redistricted. So the lines that there are now are very favorable to a Democrat. The new lines are expected to be very favorable to a Republican candidate. So the race we're looking at, it's why the NRCC has named it a flip target. Even the nonpartisan Cook Political has said they believe it's going to flip over to me. But we do need support in these swing districts. See, because when you have candidates ingrained for so long on the Democratic side, the real battle is name ID. So the candidates on the Republican side need a great infusion of cash to be able to build name ID in the district and be able to get what's done, done. And that's something that unfortunately it takes money. I wish it didn't, but it does. So that's really the thing, is identify those swing districts. Another thing I would warn people against is do not give money to unwinnable districts. If somebody's running for senator in California, do not send your money to them. You're not going to win the Senate race in California. You can win a seat like mine and flip the majority. So be smart about where you're spending your money when you're going to, infuse a campaign with cash. That's your hard-earned money. Don't waste it on a campaign that's unwinnable. And so that would be my advice. But that's really the way to fight back right now, is money and volunteering. You can volunteer from anywhere. Like my campaign, we have people from out of state who have signed up on my website, starbuck2022.com, and they click the volunteer tab. They sign up to Phone Bank. We get in contact with them right away, set them up to Phone Bank. I usually do Zooms with them and stuff, but we set them up to be able to not just help our campaign, but we're also giving them tools to help locally in their own races to empower them to do the same type of stuff. So that's my advice to them. Volunteer, give money, because this may be our last chance to save freedom in America. If we don't do it, again, it's going to be our fault. So if you want to get connected with my campaign, again, it's starbuck2022.com.
That's fantastic. At Robbie Starbuck on Twitter. And we look forward to connecting with you again and watching your race. It will be maybe a bit of a bellwether for how 2022 is going to go. And we have high hopes for it. Freedom does need to be restored in this country. And we're glad that you're working extra overtime to make that happen. Pleasure to have you on the show, Robbie. Thank you. We hope you come back.
Thank you so much. You're a rock star. I'll definitely be back.
Sounds great. Thanks, Robbie. At Robbie Starbuck on Twitter, Starbuck 2022 online. Go check him out. Very interesting guy. He was talking. Was it with Tucker? I think he was talking with Tucker. Those clips you picked when he was on Tucker Carlson maybe last Friday.
Yeah. It was Tucker.
Yeah, and just really talking about the situations that are all over the country, like Kim Gardner here in St. Louis. You arrest people and then nothing happens. They get let go, and then they commit crimes again. Oh, you remember that Waukesha? Is that how you say it? Waukesha?
Waukesha? I don't know.
Parade incident. Why are we not? I mean, it's like not even in the news anymore. It's unbelievable. This guy was a violent criminal. He drove over his baby's mother's leg like the week before. He just did this out on $1,000 bond. Then we know the rest of the story. He drove into a parade and killed people, including a child. It's detestable. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Wiggins America, which the Christmas editions of Wiggins America have been my absolute fave. Carrie Underwood and Ryan Wiggins. I mean, what more can you ask for? Got a doozy coming up. I don't even know what Wiggins America is about. Oh, it's about CNN and Fox News ratings or something. Yeah, cable news ratings. So he'll give us that lowdown, and he'll bring us into the segment in a way that you just have to hear to believe. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Is this how we say goodbye?
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Not Pyro. Maybe Derek Schmidt is Attorney General in another somewhere else. Red state. Kansas. That's where the confusion lies. Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt. Your Attorney General is
Eric Schmidt.
I'm so confused.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
So Stewart's American Mortgage, where you get your bagel loan. The only place you can get a bagel loan is with Stewie. Highly encouraging you to check out that concept, that thought. If you haven't thought the thought, here it is. I'm putting it in your brain right now. Cash out refinance on your mortgage. Why the refinance? Well, because rates are low. Equity is high in your home right now, and you have a window of opportunity to tap into some of that equity and improve your home or pay off some high interest debt. I mean, think about how low that interest rate could be. If you haven't refinanced in a while, you might be kicking yourself down the road if you don't do this right now. But the opportunity to reinvest that equity that you have in your home to putting a deck on, replacing the fence, maybe redoing the master bath and having that dream kitchen that you've always wanted. Now's the time, but you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss the opportunity to get this window while it exists. You got to go to Stewart's American Mortgage to get the bagel loan. And the reason why the bagel loan is so special is because he doesn't charge you fees that every other lender out there is going to charge you for. It's a no-brainer, folks. It was for me twice. 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440, and MLS number 226715.
The button, a symbol of things made easier. Before buttons, things were much harder, like pull starting an outboard motor.
Come on, you. Come on, you. Come on. Okay, this time you're going to start. Come on.
Or manually opening a garage door.
Oh no, my back.
Or even treating sleep apnea. If you've tried CPAP but struggle to get a good night's sleep, relief can be as easy as a button with Inspire.
Inspire is a sleep apnea treatment that works inside your body with just the click of a remote. That's right, a button. As you sleep, Inspire keeps you breathing normally and sleeping peacefully. No mask, no hose, just sleep. To learn more, visit inspiresleep.com. That's inspiresleep.com. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
I'm Chris Walls, and I'm a truck driver from Missouri. For 13 hours a night, I sit in my truck and I drive. Out of boredom, I'll stop and eat. If I'm not doing fast food, I guarantee there's a bag of chips open on my dashboard. That was all until Andro 400. I started out 4 months ago, and since taking Andro 400, I have dropped 45 pounds. I'm sleeping better. There's no cravings. I actually don't even think about food. My knee pain went away. I've had some lower back issues, and I've noticed that went away, and I can only contribute that to Andro 400. One thing that Andro 400 said on the radio ad is it attacks belly fat. Well, let me tell you, it did. The second month is where I saw a drastic change in the size of my stomach. I've lost 6 inches. This product really does work.
So guys, if you'd like to experience similar results, then get Andro 400.
the safe, natural, and inexpensive way to boost your testosterone. Go to andro400.com or call 888-400-0435. 888-400-0435.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon, heading up 97.1 FM Talk's Tree of Hope team for the kids at Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, where no child is ever turned away. Your gifts to the Tree of Hope go to fund special programs like music therapy. Board-certified music therapists bring the healing power of music to patients dealing with complex medical issues. Support provides instruments and other things necessary for the program, which is one of many not covered by insurance, but very necessary to a child's recovery. Please join our Tree of Hope 97.1 FM Talk team and give at treeofhope.org/971 FM Talk.
Wonderlight's Christmas in St. Louis is back at Worldwide Technology Raceway, celebrating from now until January 9th. Tickets available at the gate and online at wonderlightschristmas.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. In addition to heating and cooling, Air Comfort Service also offers indoor air quality, water heater, and AeroSeal duct sealing services. Get in your comfort zone with aircomfortservice.com.
Information to keep you moving. Dependable traffic mornings and afternoons with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
In a manger, no crib for a bed. The little Lord Jesus laid down his sweet head. The stars in the sky.
I can't even decipher their voices.
The little Lord Jesus asleep on the hay.
You are Carrie Underwood.
I've got
Wait.
I've got her range. I can't quite hit her tone.
Poor baby waits, but little Lord Jesus knows why.
Sing louder!
He makes. I love you, Lord Jesus. Look down from the sky.
You said you knew the words.
I knew the first verse.
Stay by my side till morning is mine.
Well done. This is Underwood America right here. Carrie Underwood and Ryan Wiggins. And for Wiggins America.
Wiggins! Oh!
It's my favorite part of the day.
You interested
So
in...
much so that when I'm looking on YouTube for Carrie Underwood Christmas songs, I just sit over here and giggle by myself. There didn't even have to be anybody in the room.
Do we have more coming up in the 2 o'clock, or is that the one for the day?
Certainly can be.
Okay.
I want to catch you off guard.
All right.
Some Carrie Underwood originals. Can't wait to hear your version.
Are we just doing Christmas? Or can I do
maybe in the
Jesus Take
Christmas
the Wheel?
season. I do. If you want to panic, you can go into that. I think this might live on past December, though.
Who did the song Took Us to Louisville Slugger to Both Headlights? Is that her?
Yeah. This
Okay.
is what we talked about at the end of the day, the show yesterday, and Brad got like really.
I don't like when women beat up people's cars.
I don't like it when men cheat on women. That's the whole premise.
I
of
don't
the
like that
song.
either, but like you
Two
better
wrongs
be
don't make a
really
right, Annie.
sure. Exactly, Ryan. Thank you.
I don't think anybody's concerned about being
And
right.
what if my truck looks exactly like your cheating boyfriend's
I
truck?
don't
and
think
you
that's
get my
what
truck?
happened in the actual song.
I think
she
it
knew
is.
it was his vehicle. Lord have mercy.
Well,
Let's go to Wiggins
You
America
guys-
to save this segment. Never said that before.
you guys interested in who's winning the cable news wars?
I have a hunch.
Well, take a guess then. Go ahead.
Fox News.
Fox News, yes. But it's a little deeper than that because Fox News is dominating so badly
They
or
have like
so
the
well,
top
I should say.
25 shows or
Oh
something
my
like
gosh. I mean, it's not even close. Here's what was surprising though. Tucker, I would figure Tucker was number 1. He's actually number 2 to the 5.
Mm-hmm.
The 5
I
is
believe
beating
that.
Tucker Carlson. So it's 1, 2, 3 is the 5, Tucker Carlson, Hannity. Number 4 is Ingram. Number 5, Special Report with Brett Baer. Number 6, finally, a different show, Rachel Maddow. She's really the only show.
Doesn't she only air like a couple times a week or something now? I think she might have the best gig in cable news.
Really? Oh, I thought she was still nightly, but I could be wrong.
She just
I don't pay
Clearly
close
the Fair
attention.
and Balanced Annie Frey show.
She just signed a new contract or something. It was like what Annie was saying.
It's like buku bucks for 30 minutes. She's got like teacher hours. I'm just kidding, teachers. They're not listening. They're in class. They can't
Right.
hear me. Anyway, we're all married to teachers.
Well, I know. We
It's just
literally are.
I know.
Wow.
I didn't make that up.
No,
What do you mean we literally are?
I did not realize that
We're all
everybody in
married
this
to
room.
teachers. You're like,
Yeah.
but no, really, we are. Well, yeah.
But me and you have said that for a long time, but now Brad is also. So like everybody in the room, I am confirming what you just said over and over and over again.
Just to really drive it home.
Down the
How bitter
line.
you should hear us in the summer when we're at work and our
Yeah.
spouses are just sitting at home doing nothing.
Then we make fun of our spouses pretty much from September through May.
Yeah.
And then
But-
for the summer we can't do it.
Now, just to reiterate, we are all married to teachers, so we say this as people who are like legally obligated to love teachers.
All three of us are.
Yes.
At least one teacher.
How do you feel about the teachers when in December they start complaining and posting memes about, oh, Christmas break can't come soon enough and blah blah blah? It's like the struggle is real for teachers when they've gone all the way from August to mid-December.
No, I hear you. No, I hear you. Except
I am
that
married to a teacher, people. Leave me alone. I love specifically one teacher.
I'll defend her and say though that she teaches
Me or your wife?
My wife. She teaches essay writing, so she can't really phone in the grading. Like it is
like my husband,
like your husband can.
You know
and
what?
your
though?
wife can.
My wife can't phone it in. She's a math teacher.
That's Scantron Central, man.
No, you've got to get partial credit and go grade down make sure they followed
You
all the
guys are
steps.
disgusting. You just flip this let's poop on teacher segment into defending whose teacher spouse has it worse. You're one of them. You turned on me.
Well, this is what the prerequisite of being a teacher. So
Before we get to the end of this segment, do you want to know where CNN comes in on this list at all? Because it's funny.
What? Yeah, quickly.
After 26 other shows,
Oh no.
they finally get to Anderson Cooper.
What do the Titanic or
I know
what's the difference between the Titanic and CNN?
The Titanic went down with all its anchors.
That's not funny. That's mean.
that's savage.
That's good turn of the century humor right there.
Always a good Titanic joke. First week, made fun of teachers. Then we laughed about the Titanic. But only in Wiggins America. This is all part of his segment, so you can email Ryan Wiggins if you have a problem.
But we
with
gave mad props to Rachel Maddow. So
close by
can
me
you turn it up a little bit?
Forever. Me, I pray. Bless all of you children. In thy tender
It's Mark Reardon for my friends at ThrottleNet, and let's talk about managed network versus cybersecurity. That's ThrottleNet's answer to the never-ending challenges that business owners face waging war against outside attacks, intrusion, and data breaches. If your IT support is not talking about cybersecurity and providing layers of defense, it's time to change. ThrottleNet clients have never paid ransom, and they're prepared for full recovery after being hit with a ransomware attack. And I've got a great offer for you. ThrottleNet is so confident of their superior customer service, they'll give you the first 30 days of service for free. If you decide to leave ThrottleNet in those first 30 days, they'll pay you $1,000 for your trouble. On top of that, they never lock you in to a long-term contract. And how about this for some proof from the business community? ThrottleNet has been awarded Small Business Monthly Best IT Company for 6 years in a row and voted #1 all 6 years. Get started today. Go to throttlenet.com/971. That's throttlenet.com/971.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
What is your name?
Stanton Carlisle.
Can you read minds?
Yes, I can.
From director Guillermo del Toro.
What do I want? To be found out, same as everybody else.
This Friday. Are you in contact with the Beyond?
Yes, I am. We've had our share of snake charmers. We deal with them.
If you displease the right people, the world closes in on you very fast.
Bradley Cooper, Kate Blanchett, Rooney Mara.
You're going to find out what's coming to you.
Nightmare Alley. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without an adult. Only in theaters Friday.
Hi, guys. It's Andrew with Pineview Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical advancement that has helped thousands of men. The WAVE technology at Pineview Medical Clinic was tested by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic, and the results are in. It's proven to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED by treating the root cause, call us now, and not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, we'll also include something unique that produces powerful and instant results in the bedroom. I don't think I've ever seen it fail. This is a $600 value, free to those that call in the next 2 minutes. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your love life back. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now to qualify. 314-530-7777.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
A first-of-its-kind lawsuit over the Capitol riot. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. The D.C. Attorney General Karl Racine says his civil suit is the first government litigation aimed at holding the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers accountable.
January 6th was, to say the least, a brazen, violent, and deadly attack that traumatized this city, this community, and our country.
Racine likens the Capitol breach to 9/11, calling it a planned terrorist attack, though there have been no terrorism charges. The lawsuit seeks financial penalties to cover the cost of deploying hundreds of police officers, as well as medical and paid leave costs. Democrats are poised to increase the nation's debt limit just ahead of a default deadline.
The latest debt limit increase will boost the borrowing authority by $2.5 trillion, enough funding, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says, to prevent a default into 2023.
No brinksmanship, no default on the debt, no risk of another recession. Responsible governing has won on this exceedingly important issue.
Democrats are expected to pass the measure without any Republican votes after GOP leader Mitch McConnell agreed to a provision in an unrelated Medicare bill, giving the Senate fast-track approval of a debt limit increase without the threat of a filibuster.
Fox's Jared Halpern on the Hill. That bill just clearing a procedural hurdle a short time ago on a 50-49 vote. They're still in search and recovery mode in tornado-stricken Kentucky. Dozens of people missing. But Governor Andy Beshear says cleanup is also underway.
There's something therapeutic about taking that chaos and destruction and death and getting it out of some of those areas.
The storm killed at least 74 in Kentucky and 14 others in 4 other states. America is listening to Fox News.
Whether you're vaccinated or not, it's important to know the symptoms of COVID and its variants. Fever is the leading sign of COVID and the flu, so make sure you use an accurate thermometer. Only the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer has been proven accurate with more than 100 clinical studies. Non-contact thermometers have no clinical evidence behind them, and you cannot rely on them. Be vigilant and seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Learn more at Exergen.com.
When news breaks, millions are turning to Newsmax. Get the latest on COVID, Biden's inflation, and the truth from Washington. Each weekday, Chris Salcedo probes vaccine mandates and looks at the potential dangers. Find Newsmax on all major cable systems or streaming on Amazon Fire, Samsung, Roku, Xumo, Pluto, and more. Millions are also watching the free Newsmax app on their phones. So download it today and start watching Newsmax for news you can really trust.
Air Comfort Service heating and cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Rather breezy from the south this afternoon. That means warmer temperatures. 68 today, 70 is the record. A mix of clouds and sunshine in that sky. Tonight, cloudy and mild, maybe a sprinkle, but tough to find Temperatures mild, holding in the 50s. Wednesday, partly to mostly cloudy skies, windy and warm. 72 on Wednesday, 76 the record. Has some rain coming in here Wednesday night and Thursday morning. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hey, this is Ryan Wiggins inviting you to give something that means something. Join us and donate blood at the Odyssey Holiday Heroes Blood Drive. It's Tuesday, December 21st through Thursday, December 23rd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at several convenient YMCA locations near you. You'll get a long sleeve Red Cross t-shirt, and the Y is offering a no joining fee for all donors who join the day of the blood drive. Go to redcrossblood.org to make an appointment.
Want to do something fun while helping a local charity? Well, here's your chance with Friesen for Funds. On Saturday, January 8th, join friends and fellow community members for a jump in the pond at Glazebrook Park in Godfrey, Illinois. We'll be out there from 10 a.m. to noon. You can visit coldengodfrey.com to register. For $25, you'll receive a cool t-shirt and an entry to the charity of your choice. Mayor McCormick will draw one lucky winner at the end of the event. The more people who register for a charity, the more likely it is to win. So if you're a charity, school, or sports organization, make sure to tell as many people as you can to get registered. Don't worry, you don't have to jump in. You can join us for donuts from Mr. Donut Coffee, Shivers Frozen Custard Coffee Cart, and hot cocoa from the Salvation Army. Again, it's January 8th at Glazebrook Park in Godfrey, Illinois from 10 a.m. to noon. Register today on Facebook at Friesen for Funds with a $sign, or visit coldingodfrey.com.
Want to make this the most unforgettable Christmas? Diamonds Direct is here to help with our most dazzling selection ever and 4 years zero-interest financing. Diamonds Direct showcases are fully stocked with the classics, as well as the latest trendy fashion jewelry from world-class designers. You'll get the unbeatable value price Diamonds Direct is known for. Plus, spread your payments over 4 years, 48 whole months with zero interest. Get holiday store hours, directions, finance details, and see our online gift guide at diamondsdirect.com. On approved credit.
When we at AmericanEagle.com were asked by our client, Repair Clinic, to, well, repair their website, our digital marketing experts, like Tim, rolled up their sleeves and got to work. If you know Tim, you know that he loves a good challenge, which meant that this project was pretty much the highlight of Tim's year. From improving slow-loading performance that plagued our client's site to slashing duplicate pages and building an optimized sitemap, Tim was like a real-life action hero, but of website optimization. And our client reaped the benefits with major strides in their SEO, like more traffic, impressions, and revenue. Tim and the team even helped them create search and email marketing campaigns and better ongoing analytics tracking. However complex your digital challenges, from digital marketing and strategy to web development, UX, and more, talk to the experts at AmericanEagle.com. Don't just grow, soar.
Whatever your budget, a Shane Company gift is sure to delight. Visit us for easy last-minute gifts tied with a burgundy bow and ready to give. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
This is Mark Cox inviting you to check out Odyssey's exclusive music stations like Wake Up and Rock. Hey, that sounds like a good segment for my show. Every station is at your fingertips using the Odyssey app.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by the Loading Dock, with a unique and beautiful ice skating rink to enjoy this time of year. Go to GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey
The
Show.
front corner of the building was still intact, but the back corner of the building onto the right side was caved in. So I waited in my van around like 30 minutes, and then they told us to come inside to like a tornado shelter area. And from the tornado shelter area, you could kind of see into the warehouse. So from the position I was in, the back corner where I usually check in and grab my keys for the van, all that was caved in. It was a bathroom over there. So that bathroom was gone.
That was Thomas DeWalt, who is an Amazon driver, telling us what he saw when he arrived at the Edwardsville warehouse just right after the storm had hit. And I'm very excited to have our next guest on the show. And before I bring Fred Glass, who is the senior meteorologist with the National Weather Service here in St. Louis, I want to tell you that while I was surveying the next day, so after the tornado came through and hit the Amazon warehouse, if you weren't listening yesterday, if you haven't heard my story, that tornado continued to progress eastward towards Edwardsville and hit my parents' farm, but the farm next to my parents' farm, just on the, I guess, westward edge of the city of Edwardsville, near SIUE. I was walking around the next morning taking some video, which you can see the live that I did on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. And I came across a vehicle, and it was some folks from the National Weather Service, and they were surveying the damage, doing their science thing. And I talked to them a bit. And Fred Glass, who, as I said, is a senior meteorologist, said that he would come on the show with us. So, Fred, thank you so much for the time today. I know that you have had quite a, no pun intended, whirlwind of a few days here. So we appreciate you fitting us into your schedule. It's great to have you here.
You're quite welcome. Yeah, it has been a pretty crazy 96 hours since Friday night. These kind of events, you certainly have quite a range of emotions that go on as a meteorologist, not only working the event, but afterwards when you're trying to do your duties and do the surveying. And our hearts certainly go out to all those people that were impacted. It's very difficult when you're out there surveying to see, all the lives that were impacted and touched. And, unfortunately, we had a very tragic event. We had strong tornadoes, and unpredictable thing is that sometimes you have fatalities and injuries, and then that was the case this time around.
Yeah. Yeah, we're speaking with Fred Glass, senior meteorologist with the National Weather Service. So I want to ask you some questions about, tell us what happened, how this compares to other events that this bi-state region has experienced. But before I do that, I think it's important for people to know how close this actually came to you specifically while you were at work monitoring this weather as it came in. You yourself actually had to shelter.
Yeah, that's correct. When we're working severe weather operations, like we were on Friday, our staff is highly staffed up, is probably the best word to say. And normally on a day like Friday or an evening, we'd be working with 2 to 3 people. There were approximately 10, 11 people in the office, all doing various functions. We have our staffing supplemented according to what kind of threats we're expecting. Yeah, anyway, this storm that actually produced the tornado in Edwardsville and hit the Amazon facility was the same storm that put a tornado down that impacted Defiance. And we could see that storm coming. And we're not very far. We're located in Weldon Spring near the Highway 94 and 40 intersection in the Missouri Research Park. And so as that storm was approaching, probably it was about 20 minutes away from us to the southwest, I conferred with one of the other meteorologists, like, are we going to need to take shelter? And as the storm got closer, the determination was made that we did need to take shelter. We have very good redundancy systems in place. We had previously made calls when we first thought we might need to take shelter to our backup office, which is located in Pleasant Hill, Missouri, which is in the Kansas City area, gave them the heads up. They were all set to take operations from us. And at that point where we decided we needed to take shelter, we gave them a quick phone call and we went to our storm shelter, and we were in there for approximately 10 minutes. The tornado passed about 1.5 miles to our south and came up along the banks of the Missouri River right near the Chesterfield Outlet Malls, and then passed to the northeast. But it's only the second time in my 30-plus years in the St. Louis office that we've had to take shelter. The previous time was on May 31st, 2013, when the tornado actually passed just across the Missouri Research Park, less than a mile to our north.
We're speaking with senior meteorologist with the National Weather Service, Fred Glass, here in the St. Louis region. So just from your viewpoint, your assessment as you went through the area, we know that it was an F3 tornado that here specifically. What can you tell us about this tornado specifically and how it compares to other weather events that we've experienced in this region previously?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we had a couple of strong tornadoes that occurred on this event. If you look back on October 24th, we had a couple of strong tornadoes that were just to our south. Fortunately, they were to the south of the metro area, but unfortunate for those people. When we do see tornadoes in the wintertime, and we do have a small maximum of tornadoes that occur during the wintertime, they tend to be on the strong or the violent side. And that was certainly the case this time. We kind of began our storm survey that day with two teams. One team went to the area down near Defiance and the track of that tornado. And the team that I led, we started out near the Chain of Rocks Bridge just on the Illinois side of the Mississippi River. And the hardest part sometimes on these is trying to find out the actual starting point of the tornado. And as best we could tell looking at the data, it actually looked like it originated just on the west side of Interstate 255 near the 270 interchange, and just rapidly grew to a strong tornado when it hit the Amazon facility, moved to the northeast. It weakened some there as it crossed the area where I saw you on a little bit on Sand Drive, but especially as you got to University Drive and Bluff Drive, and then moved through that country club area there, the Sunset Hills Country Club area, and then finally that initial tornado weakened not much further off to the northeast and ended. But the destruction was obviously tragic and very impressive at the Amazon facility. Those kind of structures, unfortunately, are susceptible when you have warehouses like that with those high ceilings. They're more susceptible to strong winds and tornado type damage. That's just the nature of the way they're built. Gymnasiums, facilities like arenas, they're all kind of very similar. There's just the way that those are constructed. And so we when we were out there, we looked at how the damage was laid out and tried to determine best, how the facility and actually the walls and everything like that failed, and then put kind of our enhanced Regida skill on that, and that's how we determine a rating.
So Fred Glass with us right now, senior meteorologist with the National Weather Service. The news cover, I mean, for this to have risen to the level of national coverage multiple days after the event, this storm system, which ravaged Kentucky, we're seeing, that is the lead story. And what the visuals of what we're seeing in Kentucky are just heart-wrenching. That combined with what took place here in Illinois, but also in the state of Missouri, this is a pretty big event. I heard you say that winter tornadoes, this is not an unheard of thing. It's not a brand new concept, but they are certainly storms that if they do manifest themselves, really do need to be taken seriously.
Oh, totally correct. And in our area are probably, this region, our maximum of tornadoes occurs in the April-May timeframe. But like I said, we have another little maximum that occurs in the wintertime. Wintertime tornadoes are most frequent across the deep south and the southeast, and that's just because that's where the more warm, unstable air is located. Usually this time of the year, we're sitting with temperatures in the 40s for highs and lows in the 20s. And I don't need to tell you what it was like on Friday. It was very anomalously warm. The temperatures were near 30 degrees above normal, and there was a lot of warm air. So that warm air that's typically to our south was much further displaced to the north. The jet stream was also across this, and we were in a very favorable setup for severe weather. It's not rare, but it doesn't occur frequently. And when it does, and severe weather occurs and we get tornadoes, the kind of tornadoes that we typically get in the wintertime, and it's due to the strength of the winds, is usually of the strong and stronger into the violent type variety. Unfortunately, that's what we saw in this area and what they saw much further south across Arkansas, Kentucky, parts of Tennessee, and on into the Tennessee and Ohio Valley.
Well, Fred, before we let you go, I just want to give you the opportunity to provide any advice. You know, the weather alerts. I was in the basement of my dad's house that was right there where that tornado did hit the Brockmeyer sod farm and came through the Amazon building, went up the hill to Country Club Estates area. And our phone alarm went off. You know, I heard the local sirens going off. I'm curious if you can just real quickly explain to me what does it mean when my phone goes off? What does it mean when the local sirens go off? What does it mean when someone says there's a tornado watch? What are those key things that you want people to know that the National Weather Service is putting out there for the betterment of our safety? How should we react to those different things?
Sure. That's a fantastic question. But first of all, every business, every home should have a safety plan when there is any kind of natural disaster, and especially severe weather. So you should know what to do, have not only a plan, but a safe place to go to in wherever you're at in your business or your residence if severe weather would strike. Our basic recommendation, if you're in a home, is to try to get as many walls in between you and the outside as possible. Obviously, the safest place is below ground, a basement, a storm shelter, something like that. If you don't have that at your disposal, then usually the most interior room, like a bathroom, is the safest place in a home. As far as, when you receive notifications, when we put out tornado watches, that means the conditions are favorable for severe weather, including tornadoes. And that at that point, people should start saying, okay, if I, observe a tornado or we get a tornado warning, what am I going to do? And that is, go to my shelter. When a tornado warning is issued, that means one has either been detected by radar or one has been observed by a storm spotter or someone, law enforcement officer, the public emergency management community, and that information has been relayed to us, and we believe it is valid, and so we'll issue a tornado warning. Most tornado warnings are first issued based on radar indications using Doppler radar, and that's what our first indications were on Friday night. So when you receive that warning, it's time to go to that safe place. It's not time to go out on your porch and try to see if you can see the tornado or anything like that. We also recommend that people have redundant sources of getting weather information. You described, getting the alert on your phone. Nearly all phones these days are pre-programmed to receive what's called Weather Emergency Alert Messages, WEA. And you unfortunately, I wish you couldn't, but you can turn those off if you don't want to get them.
Yeah, don't turn them off. Leave them on.
The only time they're going to come off is if you are under a tornado warning or what we call a significant severe thunderstorm warning. That would be something like a severe thunderstorm with observed winds of 80 miles an hour or greater, which can cause very significant damage, or very, very large hail. And by that, we're talking about 2.5 inches in diameter or greater. So when you get one of those warnings, take shelter immediately. And I talked about redundant systems. Another great thing is a NOAA weather radio. Those are fantastic to have because, like the phone, if you've got your WEA turned on and activated, not only will your phone alarm, but you'll also get an alert on your weather radio.
Mm-hmm.
It's especially good to have when we're expecting severe weather at night. And that's one of our fears is severe weather at night. People are asleep. How can we reach those people that are asleep and make sure that they get our message? And a weather radio, besides a phone with your WEA turned on are great resources.
Well, Fred, thank you so much for what you do. It was a pleasure to speak with you out there at my parents' farm and my neighbor's farm, or their neighbor's farm. It used to be my neighbor's. And we know that what you're out there doing can be difficult to survey that immediate damage. And we're glad you do it because it gives us the opportunity to be smarter about these things and prepare better. Fred, we appreciate you and thank you for coming on with us today.
You're quite welcome. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. Senior meteorologist with the National Weather Service, Fred Glass, ran into him in front of just east of the Amazon warehouse where that tornado came through and wanted to get, the scientific information behind what took place and what kind of precedent this has here in our area. We're going to take a quick break. Dinesh D'Souza is going to be with us when we come back. We're going to talk a little Jussie Smollett, or Juicy Smollett, if you will. And I'm really interested in this conversation with Dinesh because Dinesh is so incredibly smart. He knows the depth. He's like the deep cuts of what's going on in the far left progressive party that is out there right now, really driving the ship of this Biden administration. He knows the Saul Alinsky stuff. He knows the maneuvers and the plan, and he sees these things for what they are, and he calls them out. Jussie Smollett fits into this squarely. And if you haven't thought about that yet, I'm going to explain that when we come back with Dinesh D'Souza. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Like the sound of symphonies in my ears. It's like holy water on my ears.
It's not about left versus right. It's about wrong versus right. Where St. Louis comes to talk. Right here, right now. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
Dr. Joe Congas and Allies for Health. Allies, 4, health.com/Annie Frey. You need to know Dr. Joe. And the reason why is because as a pediatric medical provider, he is out there working with you to make the right decisions for your kids' health. That seems basic, but it isn't these days. He believes it's his job to provide you his medical expertise. He's been practicing for years and years and years. He's got a lot of expertise. He has a lot of knowledge. He's been in practice for a long time. He has a lot of advice to give you, but he knows that it's your right as the parent to make the decision about what's the best for your child based on his advice. It's a partnership, and he is there to guide you that way. If you're looking for direct access to your provider, no receptionist or nurse to go through, Allies for Health is waiting to speak with you. Concierge practice opportunities for you, along with a direct care practice. You can learn all about this. You can ask any questions that you have by visiting him on his website, Allies, 4, health.com/Annie Frey.
Did you know you can sell any house within just 7 minutes without any fees, commissions, banks, or headaches? ChrisBuysHomesSTL.com is looking to make you a cash offer on your house today, no matter the size or condition. We buy vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, townhouses, condos, and apartment buildings. If you have a house and are just even thinking of selling, visit us at ChrisBuysHomesSTL.com. Leave us your info and we'll reach out to you, ask you some basic questions about your property, and make you a cash offer within just 7 minutes. Remember, when you sell your house to ChrisBuysHomesSTL.com, you get to choose the closing date. To get a free, no-obligation cash offer on your house, go online or call us today at 314-782-5000. That number is 314-782-5000. 314-782-5000. That's ChrisBuysHomesSTL.com.
Do you check your Google search results regularly? You should. People often get their first impression of you or your business online. Negative comments on the internet can impact your life and your livelihood. Take control of your online reputation. Get your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com. It may reveal negative posts from an ex-employee, upset patient or client, news article, legal issue, or even exposed personal information right there in your Google search results. Uncover what's lurking on the internet about you with reputationdefender.com's patented scan and get your free reputation report card. Or for immediate assistance with your reputation, call 800-486-2205. Our cutting-edge technology helps make your Google search results look their best. Call 800-486-2205. That's 800-486-2205. 800-486-2205. Or take the free scan at reputationdefender.com.
Dealing with car repairs can feel like a lose-lose situation because you lose your money and you lose your time. Mark Cox here for my friends at CarShield. If you don't have the right coverage, just one repair can bleed you dry. Since I called CarShield, I don't have to worry about expensive repairs anymore. Their administrators handle the paperwork and expensive payments, so I don't have to. That's a win-win. Seriously, they could save you thousands. I get to pick my mechanic to do the work. CarShield's administrators take care of the rest. It's like having your own personal team of auto repair problem solvers, and they can provide roadside assistance, rental coverage, trip reimbursement, all at no additional charge, whether your car has 5,000 miles or 150,000 miles. They have monthly coverage options to fit your budget. Get coverage today. Find out why CarShield cars go farther. Visit carshield.com/KFTK to save 10%. That's carshield.com/KFTK. A deductible may apply.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
I used to floor the Bowery and I was high enough. Somewhere along the lines, we stopped seeing eye to eye. You were staying down.
While Jussie Smollett has rightly been found guilty by a jury of his peers, he's not yet received his sentencing. What he did, lying about being attacked because of his race, Jussie Smollett has spit in the face of real victims of bigotry. And he needs to apologize. He needs to apologize to the American people, and he should be sentenced to the fullest extent of the law to serve as an example and to send a very strong message to anyone who thinks about pulling a hoax like this in the future.
So Tulsi Gabbard speaking there on Jussie Smollett. Tulsi's the gift that keeps on giving. You didn't know you needed, I guess, in the way she speaks truth out there. The interesting thing to me about Jussie Smollett that I can't get over, and we can talk about later down the road, I suppose. I wish we were talking about it right now, is how what Tulsi is talking about there, that the fact that Jussie went out there and did what he did in the name of, we heard anchors saying that, well, this is what America is today, that was just supposed to be accepted. A classic ends justifies the means endeavor for Jussie Smollett to say people are just going to accept this. And if anybody believes that he was doing this to bring attention to hate crimes, no. Jussie Smollett wanted to bring attention to one thing and one thing only. Jussie Smollett. That's really the bottom line. But somebody who's been following this and calling it out, as well as the other things that the at times lunatic left is constantly engaged in, is this idea of perpetual division, which they rely on to retain power. Dinesh D'Souza, and he is our guest right now, author, filmmaker, and host of the Dinesh D'Souza podcast with us. Dinesh, great to have you back on the show. Thank you for the time today.
Hey, Annie, always a pleasure. Glad to join you.
Well, just let me have it, Dinesh. Your assessment of Jussie Smollett, what was he trying to do, and why were so many people who are in front of cameras and microphones so eager and willing to go along with it?
Well, I think the reason is because the left has generated this narrative that America is a chronically racist society. And there's an enormous political demand for corroboration of this. So you could almost say that the demand for racism exceeds the supply. And so Jussie Smollett decided, hey, listen, what about if I fabricate this incident? It will propel me to stardom. I will become the poster boy of Black victimization. My star in Hollywood will get even brighter. I mean, this was his stated motive. This is what he told the two Nigerian brothers. And so he was hoping that this would be, you may almost call it a sort of political home run. Now, remarkably, once he got busted, you would think that he would be contrite. He would say, okay, listen, you know what? But no, he's dug in. He basically, think about it, how he cynically was trying to put the blame on the two Nigerian brothers. I mean, they would have been blamed for his orchestrated offense. And I think what he was going for, Annie, in the trial was what you could call jury nullification. In other words, he was hoping that the jury would say, well, yeah, look, I mean, the evidence is irrefutable. You know, Jussie bought the noose. Jussie has checks that he wrote to the Nigerian brothers. There's video evidence. They even had a rehearsal of the attack. So it can't really be contested. But in jury nullification, the jury kind of agrees that the guy is guilty, but refuses to convict him of the crime. It's sort of like the jury agrees with the crime, and the jury thinks, and you can think back to the OJ trial, where the jury basically, I think, decided, well, listen, the guy did it, but you know what? Black people don't get justice in America, so we want to send a message. So even though he did it, we're going to acquit him. I think Jussie was going for that, but it didn't work for him.
No, he was really bad at it. Host of the Dinesh D'Souza podcast, Dinesh D'Souza himself here with us. You know, I can kind of roll my eyes and get over the Jussie thing. If I never hear his name again, it would not really bother me at all. But what does really irritate me as somebody who pays attention to the daily, if not hourly news of this country, is how we have Kamala Harris, who is the candidate for vice president and is the vice president right now, out there calling this a modern day lynching. Many news anchors and commentators out there just indicating, as you said, that the demand for racism exceeds the supply. So eager to go along with this. And there's nobody that is capable of holding these people and these government officials, which to me is essentially propaganda, for them to utilize this and use their government positions to push this idea of whatever Jussie was trying to create in this scenario. There's no consequence for them to go out and be so incredibly wrong.
Well, it's not that they're wrong in the sense that they goofed or they're mistaken, because, look, even in cases where they get corrected, they never correct themselves.
Right.
So, look, for example, they said that Kyle Rittenhouse was a white supremacist, even though there was not an iota of evidence that was the case. They tried, in fact, to say that the whole Derek Chauvin, George Floyd incident was driven by racism. I mean, that was the whole point of the Black Lives Matter protests. And yet, if you followed the trial, there was hardly a scintilla of evidence that Derek Chauvin was motivated by racism. He could have been a bad cop, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he targeted George Floyd because George Floyd was black. Now, on the other side, where you do have black perpetrators, as in the Waukesha massacre, you notice how quickly that went off the front page. The moment they discovered a black guy did it, the guy was anti-white, he was pro-BLM, all these posts on his social media, poof, it's as if that story never even happened. And then now with Jussie Smollett, it's a big embarrassment for the left because, once again, the guy who was claiming to be the black gay victim, kind of the perfect fit for the leftist narrative, now turns out to be the perpetrator. And so when Jussie goes, I won't rest until the perpetrator gets justice, well, that's actually happened in this case. The perpetrator has been caught, and his name is Jussie Smollett.
Yes. I have a SpongeBob SquarePants clip to play later that is really indicative of that same thing. You know, you said something earlier here that it makes me sad, but also our ability to call it out and your ability to identify it makes me think that there's hope that maybe it could change. But the need for racism to be out there and called out in the open, and the need for America to be a divided America. There is a vested interest that is measured in political power that exists right now based on how divided and angry that we are at one another. Is there hope for that to curtail where we can be a united nation again that is made up of a very diverse group of people?
Well, let's reframe this slightly, because on the face of it, division by itself would seem to pose no dividends for anybody, right? It's kind of like a family. If somebody's just creating division within a family, you'd be like, well, why are they doing it? Do they actually think division by itself is good? No. But if you have a relative who is shaking down the rest of the family and getting them to offer payments on a monthly basis, now the division has a motive. Now you understand why they're doing it, because it's very profitable for them. It's not that they're trying to create division per se, but they need the division to extract the ransom, to extract the payments. That's what's going on here. For the left, these divisions are politically beneficial because they intimidate our side. They force us into submission. They force woke corporate America to make all kinds of huge transfers of money over to the left. So the political benefits are the reason that they're doing it. So the way to stop it is to stop the benefits from flowing, and then they won't feel the need to do it anymore because it won't pay off for them.
You know, it seems to me that the main things that are going to be decided quickly in the 2022 election, and then of course beyond, are the country's interest in actual truth and the country's investment in the protection of liberty and freedom. And I'm looking kind of at the cable news landscape right now, where a lot of this information, this industry exists. CNN they've had a lot of turmoil. I don't know what direction that they're going in right now, but where does the average American go right now to get truth, to get factual information on what's going on? You were listing out those different things, like with Floyd right here in St. Louis, hands up, don't shoot, Darren Wilson, that all was in our backyard right here. And it continues to be, you can see a protest on the television. You'll see a hands up, don't shoot sign. And it just makes it grates me, because that didn't happen, but they needed that to be the narrative so that it could continue to be useful to them downstream. Where do people go to get real information?
This is the point. I think the point, Annie, is that the lying has now become institutionalized. I did a segment on the podcast today about Facebook. So Facebook is now being sued by John Stossel because Facebook has been labeling as inaccurate things that John Stossel said about the climate that are completely accurate. But here's what's really interesting. In its defense, what Facebook says is that their fact-checking is not about facts at all. No. They say our fact-checking is actually a statement of opinion, and therefore we can't be sued because after all, that's just our opinion. So think about it. Here's Facebook, and they're putting on this public face. I guess their new name is now Meta. So Meta's public face is, listen, we are correcting disinformation. We are trying to make sure that falsehoods are corrected. We have a whole fact-checking department so named to do that. But you know what? When we get into court and the fact checkers are called into account, we declare that they're not real fact checkers. They're merely expressing Facebook's opinion. So think about that. Just think about how this massive company has been lying to the world about the nature of its fact checking until they have to go to court where they sing a completely different tune.
Oh, it's infuriating. Well, I know one place people can go to get truth in this kind of information, and that's to subscribe to the Dinesh D'Souza podcast. You do great stuff there. Dinesh.locals.com as well. We are always grateful for your time here, and your insight into these issues is so necessary for people to hear. So we're grateful that you came on with us today.
Thank you so much.
We'll talk to you again. Dinesh D'Souza on Twitter at Dinesh D'Souza. And like I said, that podcast worthy of your time. I don't know where the justice. When does he get sentenced?
I don't know offhand. It should be fairly quick, right?
Man, that he's got to be living a purgatory that I would not want to exist in. But I hope that they make an example of him. Here's SpongeBob.
Let's book him. Wow, you guys are good. I'm the last person I would have suspected, but I was looking for me all the time. It's the perfect crime.
Yeah, tell it to the judge, Pinky.
I'm not a SpongeBob. I'm not a fan. I don't know that I've ever seen an episode. I've got SpongeBob to watch and Christmas Vacation to watch, but that did make me laugh as well. Are you a SpongeBobber?
No, not really.
Is that a word?
I just kind of came across it. Like, people use SpongeBob a lot as memes on Twitter, and that's my SpongeBob knowledge.
Interesting. All right, let's take a quick break. We are chatting with you right now on the live stream, the Annie Frey YouTube channel, the Annie Frey Show Facebook page. If you go there and say hello in the 2 o'clock hour, we're going to do shout outs. And all you got to do is say hi, tell us where you're looking at, watching from, listening from, and use the hashtag STLAF. And we will pick some winners randomly through this fun new tool that I have. I'm just playing, honestly. But I want to say hi to you, and I'll do that on the air. Stick around. More Annie Frey Show in a minute.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. The Mark Reardon Show.
We are joined right now by Missouri Congresswoman Vicky Hartzler.
What we are seeing is, in the eyes of both China and Russia, that they are viewing this president as weak, and our nation as weak after the debacle that happened in Afghanistan.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Long-term care planning, basically your assisted living care, your nursing home care that you might end up needing later in life. Maybe not even later, maybe not even as deep in, you might not be as far away from that potentially as you think you might be. Prepare for it. Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law can walk you through that whole process to help you understand how you can best afford it, to be prepared so that it doesn't, dig into any savings that you have, and you can be prepared for whatever situation might arise at that point in time. They can also help you with your estate plan, your planning of a trust. You're making sure that you have everything in order so it doesn't go into that public probate nasty situation, go through the court system, take forever. You need to talk to Beck and Lennox Estate Planning and Elder Law. A free consultation to anybody who hasn't had their estate plan done in 3 or more years, or if you've never had anything, reach out to them at 636-946-7899 and get that scheduled today. You can also schedule with them easily, book an appointment on their website. Just visit them at beckelderlaw.com.
Guys, 2021's been a roller coaster year, so spoil her this Christmas by giving her the next best thing to wearing nothing at all with soft, silky, naturally nude pajamas, exclusively from Pajamagram, America's PJ experts. Sensuous and smooth, naturally nude pajamas feel just like her own bare skin. Even more alluring than lingerie, the texture and touch of these pajamas is so seductive that you'll both love the feel of them. She'll love the feeling of wearing next to nothing at all, and you'll love the way they look. Check them out at Pajamagram.com. Best of all, Pajamagram does the wrapping for you with free gift packaging. Order today, and Pajamagram will also include a free matching naturally nude nightie with the purchase of naturally nude pajamas. That's free gift packaging and a free naturally nude nightie when you order today. Just go to Pajamagram.com. It's fast, easy, and delivery by Christmas is guaranteed. That's Pajamagram.com.
Spectrum Business is proud to support small businesses with the best internet and phone services at the best value. But we want to do more. So now, for a limited time, get 1 month of services for free. That's right, 1 month on us. Get 200 megabit per second internet and business phone, and even TV, all free for 1 month, plus free installation. Call 855-757-4544 or visit spectrum.com/business today. Restrictions apply.
If your business has accounting problems, you probably have tax problems. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Running a small business is tough, and it's no surprise that companies that don't keep good books often run into tax issues. If you don't fix your accounting problems, you could be doomed to land in the same tax pitfalls every year. Call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I can help you get out of tax trouble and stay out. If your small business doesn't have a CPA or accountant, I can help you find one. And if you already have one, I work closely with them to resolve your tax problems quickly. Make no mistake, if the numbers don't add up, the IRS will catch it. Fix your accounting and tax problems before they snowball with help from the Lance Drury Law Firm. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-238-7360, or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Selling your home's a huge deal. You want to sell it fast and for the highest price with zero hassles, right? Mark Cox here. That's why I always recommend Gloria Liu with GL International Realty and the Coldwell Banker Premier Group. Gloria continues to change the real estate game with multiple cash offers for her sellers. Above market bids with multiple cash offers in less than 24 hours, and she makes the process so easy. Gloria eliminates the hassles with no showings while you pick the closing date. Check this out. Andrew wrote, Gloria sold my home quickly above market value to an all-cash buyer, no hassles, delays, or problems. With Gloria Liu, 2 things are always guaranteed: your home sale and your price. Call Gloria today and get your cash offer at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Tony LaRussa here.
Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Bringing you up-to-the-minute traffic like nobody else. Sue Thomas and dependable traffic, driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Your yelling's getting loud. Keep it down now. Keep it down now.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Keep it down now. Keep it down now. Noise is closing in from all sides, warning all the ways to die. They say you better give up, you better give up. I'll be an army, no, you're not gonna stop me getting through. I'll sing a marching song and stomp through the halls louder than you.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It's 66 lovely degrees outside. Hope you're enjoying that weather. I wish I were outside enjoying the weather right now. What about the Ghislaine Maxwell trial? Are you following that? Are you? No? I don't. It's, you'd think that we would be like all over every news story, but some of them I'm just like.
But there's not a lot to follow. They're sitting on what's coming out of it so
quiet
hard.
About it. Everything is shut down. We're going to get Jack Posobiec on the air to talk about that hopefully this week, because he's been following it very closely. You can follow he had basically like a breakdown, I think it's 22-minute podcast on his Human Events podcast, Jack Posobiec's Human Events podcast. And you can listen to his breakdown, but it's not some hard stuff to follow.
Yeah.
I don't man, I'll tell you, there's some stories out there that as a mother, I just don't, I think I came from sports talk into news talk and dove head first into it. And when the Sandy Hook situation took place, I realized I had to stop. I had to stop like digging for details and wanting to know every tidbit of information, because I couldn't purge it from my brain. And as a mom, I think we all just kind of, if you're a parent or if you're somebody who's around somebody, if you have like a very close niece or nephew or whatever it might be, the second you start caring for that person, a grandkid potentially, you hear these stories and it just instantly you internalize it, and it seems very personal to you. That story of that 2-month-old baby in Kentucky that didn't make it. I think was there a young one out of Defiance? I'm not 100% sure about that.
I wouldn't know.
It just is hard. It's very difficult because, I know that on Friday night I was in the basement with my kids, my husband, my dad, and I was aggressively saying, put the baby in the car seat. Because I was thinking about why the baby would need to be in the car seat. And then you just hear these stories and it's awful. And the Maxwell thing, it's like some of this stuff I just don't want to know. I just don't want to know. But then like we were talking earlier in the show about what's going on with the January 6th thing. It's not so much that I don't want to know that. I just cannot. I'm so skeptical of everything that Congress does about the personal political benefit that anybody who's on that commission has, what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish. It's not really about being for anything or against anything. It's just that I'm not going to be, one of the monkeys in your dance that's going to just eagerly put on a show and get all irate about something, because the biggest conversation these days is, how does it affect Trump? If the January 6th commission thing is about Trump, that's what it is about. They already tried to impeach him, right?
Twice.
Not on this specific instance.
No.
They already went over and over and over again all of the different times where Donald Trump used insightful language. And then we listened to, it was no less than 20 minutes of audio of everybody on the left saying the same thing. They, and when I say they, I mean all of them, not just somebody on one side of the aisle or the other. They want us angry because they want us to react out of emotion, not sensibility. Sitting down and sensibly going through details and weighing decisions based on what's the most, that's way boring. It's not fun and exciting. It doesn't make for good radio. It's easy for me it would be so easy for me to come onto these airwaves and, throw my hands in the air and be just beside myself about how the January 6th commission is out against my Donald Trump and blah, 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 blah. I don't see the purpose of what they are doing with this commission that benefits the American people. And I don't lay my head on my pillow at night wondering where we are in the balance of power, pro-Trump or anti-Trump, because if Trump was anything to the country, he restored power to the American people. And the importance on the pyramid of who's on top of what in this country, the people are a capital P people. And he moved power away from some sort of establishment that had as many Republicans in it as it had Democrats, and he gave it back to the people. But he did it in his own Trump way, which was often him not getting out of his own way. And I'm kind of frustrated at him for that. Would I rather him be the president right now than Joe Biden? Twice on Sundays. Yes, please. But it's not the case. So we can waste a multitude of minutes and hours and days and months and years trying to defend the honor of Donald Trump in this January 6th commission situation. Or we can pay attention to the subject at hand, which is Joe Biden, who won the election and is destroying the country in the midst of it. With a vice president who's only concerned about her own PR, and she runs around the country cackling, blaming everybody else for how much people don't like her, when all she does is invest time in trying to make people like her. Maybe people would like you if you would do good things for the country, if you would stand by your laurels and do something. What has she done? She hasn't done anything, and everything President Biden has been doing is disastrous for the future of the country. If that's what 81 people voted for, 81 million people. Oops. If that's what 81 million people voted for, then, so be it. You got what you voted for, but it sucks. That is my professional assessment. Are we getting out of here at 55:50? Okay. All right. Well, we'll be right back with Ryan Wiggins coming in studio in here in just a minute. And we will, maybe some more Carrie Underwood. I feel like in the last segment, he was kind of pulling for that. He was kind of hoping for it. He wanted to know, or is there going to be more of this? Well, maybe there absolutely will be. Plus, we have a giveaway coming up. Trans-Siberian Orchestra tickets. You're going to want to be listening, and your shout-outs on the live stream. Say hi on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Say hi on the Annie Frey Show Facebook page. Use the hashtag STLAF, and we will say hi to you in the 2 o'clock hour. Stick around. A lot more Annie Frey Show coming your way.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
If you owed almost $28 trillion and you didn't have the money to pay it off, what would you need to do? Make a lot more money, right? Well, America's debt is almost $28 trillion, and right now, taxes are at historically low levels. It doesn't take a genius to realize taxes will probably go up. Now think about your retirement accounts. Do you want to pay taxes now on some of the money when rates are low, or later when rates are much higher? Whether you should pay taxes now or in retirement depends on a lot of things, and our team at Heisey Advisory Group knows what to look for. Plan now. Heisey Advisory Group can help you create a plan so your retirement is as tax efficient as possible. Call 314-328-6000. That's 314-328-6000 to set up a visit with our team. That's 314-328-6000. When taxes go up, will you be ready? Call 314-328-7700.
Investment advisory services offered only by duly registered individuals through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Heisey Advisory Group may not give tax advice.
Wonderful product. I've lost 111 pounds using that product. 111 pounds. You could not believe the difference. I went from a size 48 pant to a 33 pant, and I've maintained that now for over almost a year now. Yeah, absolutely. Andro 400 has helped me lose 111 pounds, and I've maintained my weight for almost a year now.
Thanks, James, for that inspiring testimony and 111 good reasons to choose Andro 400. The most effective and natural way to lose belly fat, increase libido, gain energy, strength, and muscle while safely boosting your testosterone levels. So guys, how many reasons do you need for trying Andro 400? Well, here are 2 more great reasons. Order now and get free shipping plus an additional $6 off when you use the code SAVE6. That's SAVE6. Call 888-400-0435, 888-400-0435, or go to andro400.com. andro400.com.
Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloored.com. This is a really good opportunity, good time for you to see what they have there in stock and make a flooring decision for your residence or for your place of business. They do both residential and commercial flooring for either of those places. But when you work with Michael, and Michael has been such an amazing supporter of 97.1 for so long, the Annie Frey Show, he has always been here working with folks like you. A homegrown business. And I mean, this is the type of person who you like to spend your money with. This is the type of person who you like to go support because they're from your community. And he's employing people, obviously, from your community. When you go to Michael's Flooring Outlet, you are shopping local. That's a pretty awesome thing. If you are looking for carpet, Mohawk Smart Strand, all pet, great ways to keep your floor clean with pets in your house, you need to go check them out on their website. They are easily found. Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloored.com.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
A message to Sandy Hook families. Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Biden marking 9 years since 20 first graders and 6 teachers were killed in the mass shooting at a Connecticut elementary school.
As a nation, we owe all these families more than our prayers. We owe them action.
He's urging people to keep up the pressure on lawmakers to take steps to help prevent gun violence. Today, the Senate is focused on raising the nation's debt limit, avoiding a possible default this week. White House spokeswoman Jen Psaki notes it's been done more than 80 times before.
It represents a shared responsibility to pay for past spending by both parties.
Republicans, though, argue this latest lift paves the way for trillions more spending, but agreed to allow a simple majority vote so Democrats could pass it alone. The D.C. Attorney General files a first-of-its-kind lawsuit against extremist groups believed to be key participants in the Capitol riot.
Carl Racine announced the civil suit by D.C. government against the Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, and members of those groups for, as he put it, terrorizing the district and
for unlawfully interfering with our country's peaceful transition of power and for assaulting our men and women in blue.
Racine used such terms as violent mob and vigilante to describe the targets of the lawsuit, on whom he says a goal is
to impose severe financial penalties,
to include recovery of medical and paid leave costs incurred by officers.
Fox's Colonel Scott. O.J. Simpson is no longer on parole. State police in Nevada just confirming that he was granted good behavior credits and discharged from parole earlier this month. The former football star who'd been acquitted in the killing of his ex-wife and her friend was later convicted of armed robbery over a confrontation with sports memorabilia dealers and served 9 years in prison. He had been due to finish parole a bit later in February. America is listening to Fox News.
Whether you're vaccinated or not, it's important to know the symptoms of COVID and its variants. Fever is the leading sign, and only the Exergen temporal scanner thermometer has been proven accurate with more than 100 clinical studies. Non-contact thermometers have no clinical evidence behind them and cannot be relied on. Be vigilant and seek medical advice at the first sign of fever. Be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
When news breaks, millions are turning to Newsmax. Get the latest on COVID, Biden's inflation, and the truth from Washington. Each weekday, Chris Salcedo probes vaccine mandates and looks at the potential dangers. Find Newsmax on all major cable systems or streaming on Amazon Fire, Samsung, Roku, Xumo, Pluto, and more. Millions are also watching the free Newsmax app on their phones. So download it today and start watching Newsmax for news you can really trust.
Air Comfort Service heating and cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Rather breezy from the south this afternoon. That means warmer temperatures. 68 today, 70 is the record. A mix of clouds and sunshine in that sky. Tonight, cloudy and mild, maybe a sprinkle, but tough to find. Temperatures mild, holding in the 50s. Wednesday, partly to mostly cloudy skies, windy and warm. 72 on Wednesday, 76 the record. Has some rain coming in here Wednesday night and Thursday morning. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
97.1 FM Talk is proud to partner once again with generous community supporters like you to raise funds for SSM Health Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital's Tree of Hope year-end campaign. You're helping SSM Health Cardinal Glennon continue to fund programs that are not always covered by insurance. Because of you, children in our community receive the very best care, regardless of their family's financial situation. Go to treeofhope.org/971FM Talk to make your year-end donation.
Hey, guys, no pressure here, but if you really want to make this the best holiday ever, ask her already. What's more romantic than a holiday proposal? Come to Shane Company to see our amazing selection of unique engagement rings, crafted to last forever. Our warranty is free for a lifetime, and it even covers the center stone. No matter your budget, we'll help you create the perfect ring. We also have rings already set with a center stone, ready to go. And let's talk about center stones. All of our diamonds are conflict-free and natural, handpicked for their beauty. And Tom Shane personally selects our rubies and sapphires in Bangkok. We have so many center stones to choose from. Plus, we're a direct importer, which means we pass the savings on to you. All right, guys, make it happen.
Book a virtual or an in-store appointment with a non-commissioned jewelry consultant, or just drop by the store. Check our website for hours. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
If you want to lose weight before Christmas, try Slim 180. Mark Cox here telling you about a great deal right now. Get with a friend, get with a loved one or a family member, and buy one, get one free at Slim 180 for 1 month only. This is a great deal. If you don't want to start right now, you can begin whenever you want, but go to Slim 180. There are 6 convenient locations: O'Fallon, St. Charles, Sunset Hills, Creve Coeur, Chesterfield, and Florissant. You work with counselors and doctors one-on-one, in person, to help you get the weight off. If you don't want the 2-for-1 deal and you're going to try it by yourself, right now they'll give you 25% off just for mentioning this ad. I'm on Slim 180. I'm down 12 pounds already. I'm going to lose 20 before it's over with. Call Slim 180 today at 888-754-6111, 888-754-6111, or visit them online at myslim180.com.
Your garage door is the largest piece of moving equipment in your home. When it needs help, call the experts at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Their certified technicians repair all brands of doors and openers, and you can even schedule evening and weekend service. Just call 314-781-5200 and always look for the red ribbon. It's your assurance you've got the genuine, the original Overhead Door, the most trusted garage door company in St. Louis since 1926. For same-day service, schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com. 314-781-5200.
Worried about what you're breathing in? With each breath, allergens, germs, and viruses get trapped in your nose. Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage. Available at Navage.com.
Download the Odyssey app to discover hundreds of new exclusive music stations available now. For music fans, by music fans. Music stations specific to your taste, now available through the Odyssey app. It's all at Odyssey.com. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by the Loading Dock, with a unique and beautiful ice skating rink to enjoy this time of year. Go to GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Well, happy Tuesday. Welcome into the Annie Frey Show. Probably a good day. If you haven't been able to listen to the beginning of the show, might be one that you want to use to subscribe to the podcast. We've had Robbie Starbuck on the show running for the United States House in Tennessee, and he's been everywhere, and it's great that we were able to bring him into the show here. Fred Glass, who's a senior meteorologist with the National Weather Service, at 1 o'clock, talking about the event that we had here, both in Missouri and Illinois, as well as Kentucky, and Dinesh D'Souza right in the middle of that 1 o'clock hour. So go subscribe to the Annie Frey Show podcast if you haven't yet. And I understand a lot of you might not have ever listened to a podcast before. You can go to the Odyssey app on your phone, which is where you can stream us live, put in Annie Frey Show, and it's very simple. But if you get podcasts elsewhere, you'll be able to find us there as well. A quick poll of the audience here. We've got Ryan back in studio and Trisha and Brad in here. I hate email. Is email, I hate to say it this way, for old people? No, I mean, sorry, Dad. I know you're listening right now, but I found in my email, this is like a year ago, but I was going through one of my email addresses because I continue to create new emails so that it can be like, if something comes through on this email, it's somebody who's directly talking to me. It's not a safe 5% on your $500 purchase promotion for Christmas or something. And the email I got from my dad was like, hey, you want to go to Zapata's tonight? And it was like 2-3 weeks old. And I'm like, Dad, why did you email me this? And I say, text me. If you text me, you got me. And my dad's line, I don't know if it's still the case as much, but my dad's like, my phone is so that I can get a hold of people, so not so they can get a hold of me. And I'm like, all right, Dad. Okay, fine. That's not how phones really work. But email, like, we are so inundated with so much email. The only thing worse than email, fellow millennials, is real mail. I hate going to the mailbox. So much so that I don't.
I actually think I hate email more than I hate real mail at
Really?
this point. Yeah, because everybody's got that account or two that have all the pizza coupons that there's like something like 10,000 emails sitting there that you haven't seen. And then like they have new accounts where they're talking directly at you, but those turn into the pizza emails so quickly.
It's a situation that somebody needs to remedy, because now I have 5 emails that I check and it's all promotional stuff or things. If you're sending me an email, which ironically, the reason why I'm still going to look at this for this, Trisha emailed me Friday because she needed something from me. And I've been looking for it for 5 minutes and I haven't found the email in all my work email.
Well, we all know that I'm not old.
You're the oldest dude
email.
here.
I like email. I like regular mail. I like going to the mailbox. I feel like I'm getting presents every day.
Senior citizen. Yeah, because you like coupons.
Yes.
They are presents.
The
They're
beginning of
little
every
gifts.
month, I go, ooh, it's almost coupon time, kids.
I'm going to get you a binder with like baseball card holders in it so you can file your coupons away.
That'd be fine. Except then I'd have to cut them all ahead of time. And that's
I'm
a
not
lot of work.
getting it. I'm not getting you.
My
Christmas
wife
presents
actually
this year.
has one of those with the binder with the coupons.
Oh, I just made that up on the spot.
Yeah,
Really?
she actually has.
Wait, she has a baseball card binder? Or is this specifically for made for coupons?
I think it's like a letter binder, but you know,
a couponing binder. I'm familiar with these.
that's what she has, and she does the couponing and she gets the deals and she loves doing it, which is why she likes real mail.
It is. I couponed when we had my son because we needed it because we were broke. When you have your first kid, I mean, I don't know if everybody is this way. I know a lot of people our age are postponing kids so that they can afford it. You can't afford it. You can't ever afford it. They're really expensive and they just keep eating and pooping. It never stops.
What's weird is they eat even though they have little bitty heads when they're little.
That's all they do.
You know? Like you think that's a little mouth. That can't eat that much, but it grows. The head gets bigger and then they eat more food.
Funniest thing about babies.
Yeah.
Is once you realize this, you're not going to be able to unsee it. Like, okay, if you're watching on the webcam, everybody put your hands up in the air, straight up in the air. Do that. Your head hits.
Gloria.
Your head hits. Yeah, praise Jesus. Your head hits.
Hallelujah.
Can you imagine what 104.1 through the window right now is thinking about us? Hot is like, what are those?
What are they doing?
Crazies on 97.1? Your head hits about where your elbow is, right? Your inner elbow.
Yep. Everybody driving is doing this as well.
Yeah.
Hold your hands.
You can do it with one hand if you're driving.
If you know the proportion of your body is that your Ryan, your arms are so weird.
Can I?
I know they're long.
No,
They're gangly.
No, they're not long.
Just say gangly. We'll all say gangly.
They go out.
Yeah.
Not
Oh,
up.
you mean like
Stop
this.
it, put it down. I don't like it.
Oh yeah,
anymore.
hyperextend. Yeah.
If babies put their hands up, their hands barely go above their heads. I mean, seriously, because that's why babies are so cute. And
My kids didn't, just so you know. They had longer. You almost say gangly arms.
You say that right after I say that's why babies are so cute, and you said my babies didn't.
My babies weren't cute.
Your babies were adorable.
No.
Great
arms for guitar playing.
The proportion when you're an infant, the proportion of babies is gigantic head, like you were saying.
Yeah.
They have these big old heads and their short little arms. Their proportion is so different than a grown person's, but that's what makes them look like babies. So if you look at cartoons when they like babyify something, you could turn on Disney Plus and you can see like Mickey Mouse nursery rhymes or whatever. And they make, I don't really know Mickey Mouse's actual arm to head proportions, but they make their heads gigantic. And I just am always amused when I look at Molly, and I can tell how she's getting bigger and bigger because if she puts her arms up, her arms start to go past the tip top of her head. It's just a really weird thing to realize. And then you see kids as they get older and older, like my 5-year-old, she totally looks, there's no toddler little kidness left in her. She's just every day starting to look more like a big kid. It's so sad. It makes me sad.
I had never noticed that before. I used to watch the Rugrats as a kid. It was a Nickelodeon show, and they had gigantic heads.
Huge
and
heads,
very short arms.
little arms. I know.
Yeah.
You're going to see the world differently now.
I will.
We've talked a lot about a lot of big things today, and the biggest thing is baby heads.
I wonder if that's why sailors and warships were never afraid of Easter Island.
What?
Because the Easter Island heads were very, very large. Maybe they thought, no, those aren't supposed to be warriors. Those are babies.
What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about, Brad.
No, you were quiet.
Don't bring Brad.
You were
into it.
quiet. Somebody go
Ryan,
back and roll the clock.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know how you got there.
Quiet for 2 minutes to think about what's the most ridiculous thing I could say. I could see him. You were staring out that window, not looking out the window. You were looking in your brain.
Longingly. I was thinking inward.
You were trying to think about what's the dumbest thing I could say right
I
now.
was not.
And you thought and you thought and you thought, and
I just like putting things into historical perspective. You know that. And for me, that was the historical perspective that I could find on that particular issue. Brad knows what I'm talking about.
No.
Brad's like, I will not be associated with this.
Like,
what did you even say? Could you repeat it? It was that ridiculous. I don't
wonder
think
if
you
that's
know.
why sailors and warships were not afraid of attacking Easter Island, because Easter Island had those big head things that were supposed to look like warriors, but they really just looked like giant babies.
Do you know what,
I don't know.
did you ever watch Night at the Museum?
Yes.
Hey, Dum Dum, give me some gum gum.
Yes.
That's the Easter Island head.
Thanks for
Okay.
mansplaining that to me. I know what those are.
Well, you're so confused.
Well, I didn't know that you did, though.
But when Brad says it to me, he literally said, "Hey, Dum Dum." So
That's the line
had
from the
to be-
movie.
That had to be part of the
But-
explanation. Hey,
great
Dum
movie,
Dum,
by the way.
give me gum gum.
I am not aware
Easter
of...
Island. If I slow it down, Annie, maybe you'll understand it.
Which I refer to as Resurrection Island, but that's just me as a good Christian. That was a good joke, Brad. Right, Brad?
It was a joke.
It was?
It was a joke.
I got nothing.
Trish is like, there are 8 million things I should be doing right now. This is not one of them. Let me find that email for Annie that she's still looking for.
Yeah, let's just do that.
Is that email? I should. Should I say this or not?
Yeah, please.
Newsletters. Name an email newsletter that you read.
I know what you mean. I don't read them. Although I don't necessarily think they're a bad idea. But I don't know. There's got to be a better way to communicate that information now. I will agree with that.
We get everything instantly. So to me, the idea that anything is going to be a weekly, or even like, I'm sorry, but newspapers. And I understand people who want to hold the book in their hand when they're reading a book. There's a thing about that. I'm not that person, but I understand that. I do a lot of audiobooks if I do books. I understand wanting to hold the newspaper in your hand. If that's something you're accustomed to, totally get that. I just don't understand in today's day and age where everything is instantly available to you. Everything. There is not anything that you have to wonder about. You can Google /DuckDuckGo it. And by the way, I've kind of converted into DuckDuckGo. I'm working on it. It's become part of my process.
Good.
We don't have to wait for anything. So what is going to be in that newsletter that you're going to get that is going to like be worthy of the 3 to 5 minutes you're going to sit down and read it?
I can make somebody really mad now. What do you think about the year-end letters that you get from people that you haven't talked to in a while?
Like Christmas cards?
Christmas letters. I'm no judgment. I'm genuinely asking the question because my wife and I are very divided on this. So tread lightly.
I take your wife's side. What is it?
No, you
need to.
Then you don't like them.
I think that to me is a very different thing than a business entity that's trying to put something in front of you to persuade you to develop that relationship with it. I don't have a problem with that because I think that people put time and effort into that, and you can choose to read as much of it or as little of it as you. But most of that stuff's on Facebook.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it too.
Do you write your family's letter?
No, we don't send them out.
You should.
We haven't sent out a Christmas card since our kids stopped being cute, like you said.
Whoa! That is not what I said.
This year, my Christmas card is just your family. Here's a cute family.
You were my husband for about 15 minutes at the Madison County Lincoln Day.
When I was dressed to my finest.
Oh my gosh, that's really the most offensive part of it all. Like, never mind. I won't go there. I don't know. There's so much information out there. We are constantly being attacked with information, and that information exists in a whole myriad of places where when you want that information, it's there. It's yours. It's yours to have.
I'm fine with it.
To suggest that, like, I think of the newsletter as the person who like casually strolls in the room. Like if Dave Klein came in here right now and was like, so here's what you guys need to know. After we've been doing a show for 2.5 hours and he gives us the rundown of headlines that we have had to go seek out because we need to know that information. Not that Dave Klein is that type of guy.
You're likening it to somebody walking in the room being like, well, Susie got into BYU.
No, that's
nobody
what you're
asked.
likening it to.
Okay.
So are you opposed to them?
No.
The family letters?
No, look, here's the deal.
Your wife hates them?
I just love hearing from people. I just love people. I love hearing from them.
Your
I love
wife
being around them.
You hate them.
No, we actually had this argument because she said, does anybody really read these things? And I said, I'll read some of them. I don't mind it. We really are not getting them anymore. That's a thing probably that was 10 years ago that was very popular. I think we've gotten maybe 1 or 2 this year. And I'll peruse them, but I don't read the whole thing. So I guess maybe I'm
Amanda
showing
on
my hand
Facebook
there.
says, I would read a Christmas letter from Ryan Shire Wigglesworth.
Done. Amanda, send me actually just call in and give us your address over the air. That's cool.
Let's do some shout outs when we come back. If you want us to shout you out, go onto the Annie Frey YouTube channel or the Annie Frey Show Facebook page. Say hi. Tell us where you are watching and listening from, and use the hashtag STLAF. And you will pick random people and we'll say hi to you on the air. And I can't say what else Ryan Wiggins is going to say about you because it's really unpredictable in general.
Include personal information and I will read it.
Social security numbers.
Yeah, numbers.
Yeah.
Credit card numbers, expiration dates, social securities.
Please don't. Are we going to get fired for this? No?
I will. You don't have to worry about it.
He might.
Yeah, I might.
It's starting to sound like a plan. We'll be right back.
Let's go out with some gang.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Let's go out with some bang.
97.1 FM Talk. Uncensored discussion that's free in more ways than one. This is where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Right here, right now.
You want to know what wagertainment is? It's the picks, the analysis, the information, mixed with the laughter and the entertainment. Smart sports betting content that'll put a smile on your face.
The BetQL Network, streaming live each day and helping you bet smarter.
If you're a sports fan, you know why you should listen. It's sports betting content without the BS. No hot takes, no nonsense.
All the insight you need to bet smarter is at BetQL.com. And listen to the BetQL Network, streaming live right now on Odyssey.
The button, a symbol of things made easier. Before buttons, things were much harder, like pull starting an outboard motor.
Come on, you. Come on, you. Come on. Okay, this time you're going to start. Come on.
Or manually opening a garage door.
Oh no, my back.
Or even treating sleep apnea. If you've tried CPAP but struggle to get a good night's sleep, relief can be as easy as a button with Inspire.
Inspire is a sleep apnea treatment that works inside your body with just the click of a remote. That's right, a button. As you sleep, Inspire keeps you breathing normally and sleeping peacefully. No mask, no hose, just sleep. To learn more, visit inspiresleep.com. That's inspiresleep.com. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
What is your name? Stanton Carlisle. Can you read minds? Yes, I can.
From director Guillermo del Toro.
What do I want? To be found out, same as everybody else.
This Friday.
Are you in contact with the Beyond? Yes, I am.
We've had our share of snake charmers. We deal with them.
If you displease the right people, the world closes in on you very fast.
Bradley Cooper, Kate Blanchett, Rooney Mara.
You're going to find out what's coming to you.
Nightmare Alley. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without an adult. Only in theaters Friday.
If your home needs an upgrade, don't get frustrated. Get solutions. Call Lakeside Renovation and Design to transform your space into the home of your dreams. Our custom carpentry work has been wowing homeowners for over 20 years. Whether you want a deck or porch, a gorgeous sunroom, a remodeled basement, or more, our award-winning team does it all with in-house skilled carpenters. We even stand behind our work with a lifetime workmanship warranty. Request a free consultation at 636-978-5000. You'll love your home all over again.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and the children listen.
No, Trisha, I have not seen Christmas Vacation. It's unbelievable to me. I was flipping through the channels last night and it started at 9:00 and I was like, oh, should I do this?
It's on Max right now.
What
I
are
don't
you
know if
doing
you're a
over there?
Max fan, but
Clickety clack. You're not even typing real things. You're just making noise.
That is the loudest keyboard in the world, by the
Isn't
way.
it? I
It's not my fault.
What did you not have to Google until the show started back?
I am looking up some of the later National Lampoon Vacation movies.
Yeah.
There are some spin-offs that are so bad that they're actually enjoyable. And I think one of them has Randy Quaid in it. I think it's called Island Vacation, if I'm not mistaken. It is terrible. And you should watch that first.
Set the bar low.
Yes.
I'd be like, oh, this one's really great.
Yeah. And then have you ever seen Vacation, the original?
Yeah.
Most of it?
Yeah.
Like
Parks
here and there.
closed,
Yeah.
Moose up front, should have told you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
European Vacation. You didn't see the Vegas Vacation, the newer one?
Maybe parts of it.
The one with Ed Helms, like the newest one.
I
Ed
saw
Helms
that
real
one. That
quick.
was not terrible.
Who's Ed Helms?
Yeah, I thought it was fine. It was
bad
fine.
as it could have been. I didn't think it was,
Yeah,
it was watchable.
it was watchable.
In my opinion, though, Christmas Vacation's the only one you have to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, Vacation really is a time capsule. It's funny and it really encapsulates 1983 very well. But Christmas Vacation is just funny. So there
You
you
born
go.
in 1983?
I was.
So he encapsulates 1983 just fine.
And he knew all about Easter Island.
Oh,
So
we're going back to that now.
All of it. Everything 1983.
All of 83 is encapsulated in this one man. How did we get such a man?
Where did we find you? Where did you come from?
Okay.
The program director said, "You know what this show needs more of? Needs more 1983. You need to find somebody that encapsulates 1983 on this show."
Now that's sticky.
You know how Steve says that? That's sticky.
That's the boss from Spider-Man. I think I'm doing. Somebody get me Spider-Man. Somebody get him on the phone right now.
How long can you do this?
I don't know. I've never done this before. It just happens.
And it shows.
Yeah. What a scoop.
Are you done?
Yeah. Well,
You just
it can be.
You just gonna keep speaking up like that every
Yeah.
time I'm gonna say shout out to Tom on our Andy Frey YouTube channel. Hashtag STLAF. His comment is, I've never used a hashtag before. He put hashtag in quotes.
You mean pound sign.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
You know, if you have, I'm very keen on the idea, understanding that I'm asking people to use hashtags. I'm asking you to watch us on YouTube. Like, these are brand new things, so much so that when I started using YouTube TV as my provider, it might have been, it was right when it was made available in the St. Louis area. It's like 3-4 years ago, maybe. I didn't understand Roku's and Apple TVs and Fire Sticks. It's a whole foreign, different way of understanding how to watch TV. And we've had Spectrum. I like their product. There's nothing wrong with Spectrum, but at the time I was going with what was absolutely the cheapest. I think I paid $35 a month as a immediate subscriber to YouTube TV here, and now it's as expensive as everything else. Are you guys streamers? Do you have cable? What do you do?
Pure streaming, no TV.
Yeah,
Cable.
You're a sports guy though. That's why, right?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that, and I don't like the idea because I think streaming has become cable with more steps.
You're right.
And I'm just
but less commercials.
I can just
Easier
skip over
to
like
share passwords though. Like it's easier to share to get more for less if you're clever about it.
YouTube TV is in a dispute with Disney right now, and I think as of the 17th, which would be Friday, if they don't have an agreement by then they are going to drop all of the Disney products, which is where people are really going to understand how much Disney owns. Because it's ABC, it's ESPN, it's I think the ACC and the SEC networks.
Wow, I wouldn't have known that.
Freeform, FX, FXX.
Do they currently have a licensing agreement that's going to expire and they just haven't come to terms?
Haven't been able to get it back together. But YouTube TV, the email that I got said that if they can't make it work, they're going to essentially part ways and they're going to drop their monthly fee $15 a month.
That's
which
half.
No, it's like $70 a month now.
Is that worth it to you? Is there still enough content?
Well, for me, I'm trying to think what sporting events are broadcast on ESPN that I'm watching right now. Like, how often is baseball and hockey on ESPN?
Not much.
Football, hockey's not on it at all.
We watch Notre Dame specifically. The reason my husband is a Notre Dame football fan is because they were always broadcast on NBC, and when we grew up in the days of no cable, it was who you could watch with consistency, and that's why he's a Notre Dame fan from being a little kid. So the majority of the Notre Dame games, the home games at least, are on Channel 5. And like the local ABC channel, that'll get pulled off, but I think you can still get an antenna or something like that. And, we have Disney Plus. My kids don't watch any Disney stuff live, if you will, on YouTube TV. They just go to Disney Plus. It's all there.
You know what you're going to miss with ESPN is old poker games. That channel is struggling so bad. Disney can't figure out what to do with it because it is bleeding money.
Well, they've gone woke.
That's
I mean, they've really pushed people away, and especially in the sports industry, the last thing you wanted, the reason you tune into sports is to be entertained, not, I hate to say it, informed. Am I right? I mean,
no, you're right.
You don't want to slant. You don't even want to be considering the fact that there are two sides to something. There are two sides. There's offense and there's defense, and you're rooting for one of them to win and one of them to lose, and that's basically it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Plus, in sports, I mean, you can get away with it in entertainment, but in sports, that's like the highest concentration of, to borrow a woke term, cis white males. That you're just asking people to get mad at you, and that's what they've done.
Mm-hmm.
And also, at the same time as they were doing that, people were moving away from needing ESPN.
Yeah,
when you have a
having
phone,
things on demand.
You don't need to know what SportsCenter said about the games yesterday.
And if you're on Twitter, if you're on social media, and you want to see the top 10 plays, you're going to see them in increments in your social media feed. Batwing on YouTube says, "Hello, Andy Frey, #STLAF." And I'm going to get the next one here. So I'm going to keep saying hi. Thank you for everyone who's been using the hashtag. It's great to have you here. I'm testing this theory out right now because we want to potentially use it to do some giveaways in the future. And I want to learn it before I screw up a giveaway. This is essentially what I'm saying here. And we're going to have a giveaway here before the end of the segment. So make sure you stick around to find out what you need to do. Does ESPN still... Are they still dipping their toe in the wokeness? Do you watch ESPN at all, Brad?
I don't watch it. I tuned out whenever they started going woke. It's just like Ryan said.
They are,
like,
though.
I don't, I go to church on Sunday to be preached at, not, watch sports to be preached at. So
they are. I think Stephen A. Smith, I made the joke a couple weeks ago. The whole network is this guy, and his beliefs basically are the rudder for the whole ship at this point. And there's been interns within the last year who've been fired for saying the wrong thing on social media. And by wrong thing, I mean being conservative. They're not saying anything wrong.
Where is the safe space from safe spaces? Where does that exist?
Good question. I don't know. I mean, because what is a safe space? It's basically blocking anything that you feel uncomfortable with. And who gets to decide what makes you uncomfortable? It's completely arbitrary. But it's basically left. There's so many things that are leftist that contradict each other, but they don't seem to matter, and so it's so arbitrary. Like when you talk about safe spaces on college campuses and stuff, like some of the stuff that comes out of college campuses of people walking up to other people on them, and some of the videos we've seen, if you have a rational thought in your head, the arguments being made against the people yelling they're numerous because they don't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't make any sense as I'm talking about this.
But to Annie's point, where do the people who aren't involved in those safe spaces, where do they go? Well, like, where can they exist? I think is what she was kind of getting at. Because like you were pointing out, I remember seeing this, I think it was Arizona State. These two young ladies went up to these two young men sitting at a table studying on this third floor. And they're like, this is our space and you can't be here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's supposed to be multi-ethnic. And they're just there. They're just two white guys sitting there.
White,
studying
Caucasian.
So no, you can't be here because this is multi-ethnic. Well, I thought that's exactly what this meant. This means anybody could be here.
Yeah, but it doesn't. And it just seems like the institutionalization of that type of a mentality is not for what's best for people. And the people who are pushing that the most, they know it. I mean, that's the real sad part about it, right? Because there are a lot of people who openly support Black Lives Matter with the best of intentions and the kindest heart, and they just don't necessarily know how corrupt it can be and how like, where does the money go? What are the actual goals? If the surface level is that people want to fight for equality, well, who's against that? There are some people who are against that, but those people are jerks. They're not white Trump supporters. Like, you can't just blanket people who vote Republican or who supported Donald Trump or who, maybe live in rural areas as to all be these kinds of people in the name of equality. You're actually implementing the thing you're working against in order to make a point about the thing you support. It's hypocrisy. And the people who pay a lot of attention know that. And there's no real way to come out and be like, well, I'm against Black Lives Matter. Well, of course, Black Lives Matter. I've said this from the moment that Black Lives Matter became a capital B, capital L, capital N. It is a sentence that we all 100% should get behind. It's a political movement that I think is corrupted, as are many political movements used that has grown and strengthened based on inequalities that do exist and will only continue to perpetuate its ability to have relevance in society based on the division continuing to exist. That's a problem. It doesn't solve any problems. And I talk about this with the border issues and with many of the things that people on my side of the aisle as a Republican or a conservative would look and say, how can the Biden administration look at the border and say, and not be doing more? Well, we have to first agree on what the problem is before we can assess on whether or not that said problem is actually being attempted to be solved. I don't think that they see a lot of the same things today. And this is a contradiction to what I've said about the Republicans and Democrats in the past. I don't think that the Democrats who are in power, who are very different than the Democrats who tend to vote those Democrats into power, I don't think the Democrats that are in power see the same problems that Republicans do anymore. I think it used to be the case that we see and could agree on where problems exist, and we drastically differ on how to fix it. Democrats say, let's put a government solution in here and we'll solve it real fast. Oh, and by the way, we need you to sign this check right here. And Republicans tend to go the very opposite direction and say maybe there's a little bit of over-regulation taking place from the government that is causing this problem. Let's get government out of the way. But I don't know that we even agree on the problem anymore.
It's getting harder. You mentioned the border. I heard somebody, may have been on Kilmeade, may have been on your show. It was a very, very good guest, very, very knowledgeable person on border issues. Made a really strong case that the Biden administration does not actually have, we've assumed they're trying to just basically import voters long term. They made a case that that's not the case, that they're actually just that incompetent, that there is no long game.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never heard somebody so eloquently state that, but it made a lot of sense because that's what we're seeing across so many issues, like you're saying, that it looks as if that it's not anymore that we can't solve the problems because nobody even knows. Like these people who are in office can't even identify what a problem is or what would be good for themselves or the country anymore. That's pure incompetence. And I almost hope that that's it. And
I was going to say, the alternative is more frightening.
Right.
And I think there's a mix of it. And I think that your length of time spent in Washington, D.C. probably moves you from one end of that spectrum to the other. Gene on our YouTube channel says, #STLAF. Belleville, longtime listener. Glad you and yours were safe from the Edwardsville twister. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And Ashley on the YouTube channel says, listening at work. Love your show. #STLAF. Thank you all for listening. Appreciate that.
And a hello from Darlene. Hi from Clover Bottom, Missouri. I think she is actually just from Clover and is being crude. I've been sitting on that one since the beginning of the segment. Wanted to slip that in there. We are going to give away some Trans-Siberian Orchestra tickets.
Did you see how he just took over the show and did the giveaway? I didn't say it was time for that.
What is happening?
It's about time, is it? I'll wait for you.
I think he told a joke that he thought was funnier and he panicked and he's like, let's do a giveaway.
Didn't land. Here's some free stuff.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to love me now.
That's what the Democrats do.
Well, you're going to love this.
This is as Democrat as it possibly gets. Situation solution goes wrong. How about some free stuff, people?
We're giving away free healthcare and free childcare here on the Annie Frey Show.
Caller number 742. Dave, I'm
we'll
sorry.
do.
Dave just shed
what did we do yesterday?
Yeah.
9. We'll do caller number 7 at 314-241-9797. Phone number again is 314-241-9797. You will win tickets to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And you will love me for it.
Do you have any more information on that giveaway? We provided you a sheet. When's the concert?
Give me the sheet, and I'll tell
You
the
don't
people.
have
You,
it?
Hijack the show.
It's
to do a
December.
giveaway.
Like
it's December
literally
30th.
in this segment, you had one job.
December 30th, you guys. Gosh,
Do you
get
know
it together.
that? Do you know that, Brad?
Yeah, I remember reading that. December 30th, and I think it's the afternoon show.
It is.
Stall. You
It's
got it?
It's the early afternoon show.
I think that now would be a good time to go to break, Brad.
I'm on it.
Okay. That's your job. Ryan, anything else you'd like to? I just did
TSO.
I just
stands for
did another
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
drawing for the person who used hashtag STLAF. And my YouTube channel just won. I don't think that's how that's a little sketchy. We'll be right back.
And they are your Christmas.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show. The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Not Pyro. Maybe Derek Schmidt is Attorney General in another
somewhere else.
red state. Kansas. That's where the confusion lies. Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt. Your Attorney General is
Eric Schmidt.
I'm so confused.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
Hey, this is Wiggins. Let me give you a little context of why I endorsed Jeff Smith and how this happened. So back in September, we bought a rental house. It's the second rental house we have, so we're not like big landlords. And all of our insurance forever, our cars and our two houses, have gone through Jeff. And I thought, you know what? I needed to stop resting on this because if we're going to add another house now, I need to make sure I'm getting the best price because that could be hundreds of dollars a month over the span of, a couple houses and a couple cars. So I shopped around. Nobody beat him. And I told him that. I told him ahead of time, I'm going to shop you. And he's like, that's fine. I said, don't take it personally. I like what you do. I love the claims process. So if nobody can beat you, I'll stick with you. Well, that was the case. And I didn't really even want to change. I just wanted to make sure I was getting the best deal. And I am. So that's why. And when I told him that, I said, let me endorse you. I'm on the radio. Let me endorse you. You've been fantastic to me for 25 years. I've never had to change. So here we are. And I tell you about Jeff Smith and Country Insurance for that very reason. Jeff Smith, Country Insurance, first one in your phone. Give him a call.
If you filed a tax extension in April, don't wait until it's too late to handle your tax issues. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm. Every year, thousands of Missourians file extensions when their taxes are due in April. But what people don't know is the extension only moves your deadline to file your return, not to pay your taxes. So if you didn't pay anything back in April, you could now owe taxes plus interest plus penalties. You think you've bought yourself time, but really you've just added to the total bill. If this sounds like you, call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I am a local tax attorney with an A+ BBB rating, and I will meet with you right away to help handle your tax problems quickly. The deadline to file your return after an extension has already passed, so call the Lance Drury Law Firm now before it's too late. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call Attorney Lance Drury, 314-238-7360, or go to Lance, DRURYlaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Do you check your Google search results regularly? You should. People often get their first impression of you or your business online. Negative comments on the internet can impact your life and your livelihood. Take control of your online reputation. Get your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com. It may reveal negative posts from an ex-employee, upset patient or client, news article, legal issue, or even exposed personal information right there in your Google search results. Uncover what's lurking on the internet about you with reputationdefender.com's patented scan and get your free reputation report card. Or for immediate assistance with your reputation, call 800-486-2205. Our cutting-edge technology helps make your Google search results look their best. Call 800-486-2205. That's 800-486-2205. 800-486-2205. Or take the free scan at reputationdefender.com.
Spectrum Business is proud to support small businesses with the best internet and phone services at the best value. But we want to do more. So now, for a limited time, get 1 month of services for free. That's right, 1 month on us. Get 200 megabit per second internet and business phone, and even TV, all free for 1 month, plus free installation. Call 855-757-4544 or visit spectrum.com/business today. Restrictions apply.
Whatever your budget, a Shane Company gift is sure to delight. Visit us for easy last-minute gifts tied with a burgundy bow and ready to give. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get your furnace ready for cold weather with a heating system check included with all maintenance plans from Air Comfort Service. Maintenance plans starting at $15 per month. For more details and to get into your comfort zone, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Back in the car and back on the road. We're with you. Dependable traffic with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
I know you want to leave me, but I refuse to let you go. If I have to beg, plead for your sympathy, I don't mind, cause you mean that much.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're up to, count them, 4 watchers on Twitch.
What?
Watchers, viewers, whatever it is.
It's almost a handful.
Can we get to 2 hands on Twitch? I'm here for it. I hope we have more people listening on 97.1 FM Talk than watching on Twitch.
1.7 million listening on the radio, but 4 on Twitch.
Yeah, scientifically speaking. We do have a winner of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra tickets. We had so many people calling in because of how well Ryan Wiggins presented that
They
giveaway.
didn't even care about the tickets.
I said, Ryan says we should do this. We should just do
We gotta
it.
do it.
That's what the people did. Dave, what do we got?
We have Karen from Wood River that won the tickets.
Woo-hoo!
Yay,
Hillside.
Karen.
Congratulations, Karen. Enjoy the concert. Also, Dave burst into the studio just before because he had some stuff he wants to get out of his chest. And
Yeah, we definitely did not coax him.
No, of course not.
and he goes, you started talking about you're getting letters.
Well, we're getting Christmas cards, and I heard you guys talking about the little paragraphs that people put on the back of their cards that say, like, Katie likes the color pink in Pokemon, and she hates puking. I seriously, I honest to God got one of those yesterday from one of my friends.
Yeah, those facts in it?
Yes.
That's kind of entertaining, though.
I don't need to know that. I don't care what your favorite color is.
Was that from your family? Your wife's name is Katie.
My wife's name is Katie. So, yeah, Katie still likes pink this year, Dave. She's not a big fan of puking, though.
Ryan, will you please write an AFS letter that we could just do on the air?
Sure. Can it be your family in the picture? Can I make up what your family did this year?
AFS family.
Oh.
We've had quite a year.
I want to make up what your family is doing.
No.
Like the show family, Ryan.
The show family.
What are we having?
The Annie Frey Show family.
Oh, we're friends family. Okay.
No, not friends.
The family, the show family, Ryan.
Family.
Yes.
Write the Christmas family letter for the show. We'll do it on Friday.
You're going to be shocked when it's heartfelt and real.
No, it won't.
I would be in the event of.
My kids got baptized this year in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, and we're super proud of them. Here's what Brad's family is doing this year. That's all it's going to be. No jokes.
Do you
not
understand?
A single joke.
Not your family.
Trisha,
I know.
Make him make eye contact with you while you're speaking.
Ryan,
look
do you
directly.
understand this assignment?
Yes.
Okay.
But each one of us have families.
We are not talking about your family.
We don't care about our families.
How is this going over your head?
Not
We
about
care
your
about
children.
This is very indicative of the entire exercise of not liking these letters
Slowly.
and just loving people where they're at. Love wins, you guys.
What happened?
Ryan hates belching and the color green.
All right,
plan.
then that's what it is then.
Dave Klein writes
That's
it
the letter.
in the voice of Ryan Wiggins
Yeah.
for the Annie Frey Show, which he has observed from 15 feet afar, and you could, explain our year.
Dear friend of the show, Brad is having a good time, loves pumpkin pie. Dave likes the color green and hates belching.
Very accurate.
It's going to be a short letter, but that's going to be what it is. Ryan loves root beer. Annie,
And expired
however,
candy.
hates root beer.
I love root beer. Now you're a liar.
It's got to be factual.
And it has to be like fluffed up, right?
Yeah.
It has to make you look really good.
I'm going to do like 30-minute interviews with each one of you, and every single person gets one sentence.
Yeah, I was going to say all the right 6 sentences.
You're like a disaster recovery person for the Annie Frey Show in 2021. Like, let's polish this turd up real nice and give it out to the people on Friday afternoon.
Yeah. I talked to Annie for 30 minutes before this card. The best I can tell you is that she enjoys a root beer float. She appreciates your time.
Tara on YouTube says, love the new hashtag STLAF. So keep sending them in. We're going to keep doing these shout outs throughout the course of the show. Usually we'll give them out in the 2 o'clock hour. And we're glad that you're streaming with us live here. So do you send out, Dave, do Christmas cards at all?
Yes.
Did you or did your wife?
No, I don't. I don't have the penmanship to address them, so I don't do it. My wife does. I take the pictures, but she actually
You do?
Yes. But she actually picks the design of the card and sends them out. And I've tried to put my penmanship on them every year, but she goes, no. Yours is pretty crappy. Let me do it.
You've been disallowed?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Are you offended by that?
Not really, because
Maybe
it's
a
true.
little, I think though.
My writing's pretty bad, but I think, are we all spouses of teachers? in
You
here?
too?
Yes.
Not Trisha.
Trisha.
me.
No, sorry.
Sorry, Trisha, gotta leave.
Sorry, guys.
4 out of 5 ain't bad. Put that on the Christmas card.
I do have a question about Christmas cards.
Yeah.
You have a dog, right?
Yes.
Does your dog make the Christmas card?
She used to before the kids. Now she's kind of like a forgotten little thing.
Okay, so we have friends who have a couple of dogs who were the stars of their Christmas card until they had a baby. And now they're not even like honorably mentioned on the Christmas cards.
100% accurate.
It makes me very upset to not see those dogs every year at Christmas. And not that I don't love this baby. I mean, I love this kid, but I want to see your dog. Like, put your dog back on the card too.
Spoiler alert, the dogs are getting older and less good looking.
No, they're so cute.
Also
Stop
true.
it.
Also true.
It's not because they care less.
It's like a vanity
They're
thing.
just less
Like,
attractive. It doesn't make the family look as wholesome and American.
Right.
All right. Well, it makes me sad. And I think that this is something that happens a lot.
Yeah, it does.
The
It's
dogs are not
unfortunate.
less loved. But the
No.
kids are more loved. That's the way it's. I hate to say
that's
this.
not wrong.
And I love your
that's
kids.
actually the way it's supposed
I
to be.
love your kids, but I want to see your dog. Just as like a Christmas
Well,
card
just
receiver.
go to their house and look in their windows.
I'm
That's what
I
Wiggins does.
I do that too.
Also, there's a nice long pause at the end of that sentence
Uh-huh.
where, Brad, you could cut that and make that the promo today. I love your kids, but I want to see your dog. That's it.
This is.
We just take a note here. Ryan.
You can tell that Ryan Wiggins is always thinking about the integrity of the
Mhm.
show
such a
and the radio
creative.
station.
Yes.
Yeah. How can I make this as ridiculous as possible?
Uh-huh.
No, I mean, I love my dog, but unfortunately with the kids, she kind of gets, and it's true, she kind of gets less attention. The kids love her, but she doesn't really reciprocate that love back.
She's a dog.
necessarily. Yeah.
Like, I have a dog that I love dearly and care about, but it's okay to prioritize your human children over your
Yes.
dogs. It needs, like, I can't do the comparisons of taking care of any pets to taking care of humans.
So
It's
I
not the same.
would never make that assumption.
Yeah.
Or think that I'm not naive. I don't think that the love for a child is anything compared to the love for an animal is anything compared to the love for a child. Just as a Christmas card receiver,
Chances are,
want to see your animal.
It's also very possible
Please.
that depending on said photo that was taken, maybe they tried to get one with the dog and it just didn't work.
That's fair.
That's true.
But these dogs were in every photo every year. Now they're no
Maybe
longer in the
if
photos.
is it a collage of photos or is it? So I mean, you could put a picture.
Throw me a bone, pun
If-
intended.
If it's a collage, yeah, I think there's no excuse not to have the picture of the dog.
Right.
Emphatic
you.
nod of approval from Ryan Wiggins on the pun.
You could put the
Nice.
Yeah.
He had
Throw me a bone.
a silent smirk and nod, and
I got a little fist bump under the desk here.
You could have, like, the paragraph on the Christmas card say, "Oh yeah, and by the way, the dog is not dead."
Yeah.
You know, like, just say that to
Dog's
everybody.
still here. We're not
Dog's
really
alive and
sure
well.
where.
Right.
Isn't it funny, like, as a parent though, like, you just do the best you can, and you're like, you print it, you're like, we forgot to put the dog in the picture.
Yeah. Too late.
Are all the
well.
kids in the picture? And then you're like, yes, and you're like, it's still a win.
Well, Dave's taking his picture, so he's not in his cards.
Just a selfie in front of the fridge.
The only one of the collage, one selfie.
Yeah, I'm here too. Stick around. The Mark Reardon Show coming up next.
I'm not a American sweetheart.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions.